Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Paul, you're looking good. You've been losing weight? Are you on the Ozempic?
A lot of comments on his hat today.
He says, I know grammar and language come up sometimes, so I
this
figured
is
I'd
true.
highlight a few oddities and errors that you still make.
Oh, good.
Paul, picture is pronounced picture, not pitcher. Fred, the overuse of the word myself. Mike, your heavy reliance on the phrase a little bit. He says he has no Evan complaints.
You must be a barrel of laughs at parties.
Us lining up cadence between the quarterbacks and making sure everybody is kind of doing it the same way is something that they've been talking about.
Well, thanks for bringing us down. In the new studio, we're going to have 3 cameras.
He was in
and,
pitches.
We'll be able to do those cutaways.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Dios
Yeah.
mío.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question about acquiring a stud wide receiver. Because I think about football too sometimes, Evan.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
Welcome to day 1 of Minicamp. This is Fred Kirsch, Mike Dussault, Evan Lazar, and Tamara Brown. We will be here for the duration of practice today, Monday. It's day 1, and we are high above the practice fields here at Gillette Stadium. We're presented by buyatoyota.com. If you want to see Toyota's best offers, including those not seen on TV, go to buyatoyota.com. It's Toyota's official website for deals from the official vehicle of the New England Patriots. Toyota, let's go to practice.
Here we are. We're
Yeah.
here. We're arrived. What a beautiful day. Perfect, crisp weather, not too humid or sticky or anything like that. So I don't know about you guys, but this is a fun little final wrap here as we get ready for Tom Brady night on Wednesday. We got a couple days of mini camp practice, and then I guess we get a vacation. That's the hope, right?
What's that? What's a vacation?
It hasn't felt like it this offseason, but
No.
but good to see some names here and everything. Devon Godshaw, Matthew Judon.
Who's moving
back
their
out
mic?
there?
Not me.
Not me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
There it
weird.
is.
There we go.
But a couple names. Gerard Mayo did say in his press conference everybody was here, still taking some inventory of the injury guys, rehab guys. Jelani Tavai, Kendrick Bourne, Cole Strange obviously hasn't been really participating. We think he's going to be out, but a couple of these names, Jonathan Jones, who's been in and out. Judon hasn't really been around. Gotcha hasn't been around. Those guys are here, so it sounds like Gerard's happy with the attendance.
Yes, so it's really got a training camp feel. We actually have referees out there.
Yeah.
We've got a chain gang out there, so they're going to do some down and distance work today. So you're really going to get a feel for training camp today, minus the fans.
Yeah. Well, you wonder just how competitive it's going to be. I know Gerard said that there was going to be some competitiveness today. I mean, take from that what you will. We've seen some competitiveness, I guess you could call it, in OTAs. But 11 on 11 brief periods. Last week we were here in the red zone a lot, third down, but a lot of red zone work as we're kind of used to seeing. Just to recap, I guess, for people who weren't around, a little clunky from the offense, little ups and downs, a couple Drake May interceptions. Definitely seems like the defense that has continuity, that has coaching continuity, they seem to be a little bit ahead, which, not all that surprising given that you've got a completely remade offense.
So just in case people are wondering, you're looking at us right now because this is what they call period 1. They're doing some walkthroughs of some actual plays and formations and stuff, so they don't want our cameras turned to them for period 1. But once this period's over, you'll be looking at the field. So don't worry, you're not going to have to look at us for the whole time. Tamara, what do you got?
Sorry, I couldn't figure out if my mic was on or not. But I want to draw attention to something Gerard said in his press conference today and see what you guys thought. What did you think of the question about Drake May moving into second behind Jacoby Brissett and his response? Do we really think it's just trying new looks and trying new people offensively and defensively, or do we really think they're ready for him to get more reps?
Yeah, they had said that last week when we talked to Drake May about it, even after practice, that it's just about getting him work with other guys that he's throwing to. Because if you are in the same order every single time, then you're going to be throwing to the same group of receivers with the same offensive linemen and so on and so forth. My read on it, Tamara, is that they're trying to play this a little bit close to the vest and try not to make as many headlines about it as it's obviously going to make. But we'll see out here today. That was one of my big things about today is the order the same as what we saw last time, because that would tell me that it's definitively that Drake May has moved up the depth chart versus what they're telling us it is, which is experimenting with other combinations.
I mean, we shouldn't be surprised, right? This is only a matter of time. They didn't draft this guy third overall to back up Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, I think that's really where we're at right now with Zappi is just his spot on this team. It comes down to if Jacoby Brissett were to get hurt early on in the season, do you trust to put Drake May out there before maybe you really want to versus carrying Bailey Zappi as sort of the emergency backup for that circumstance? Is it worth carrying another quarterback on the roster that isn't the future simply because you want to break glass emergency type of situation if Drake May were to have to go in early than what the timeline tells you?
I think given the history of quarterbacks the last 2 years in the NFL, I think it could be beneficial to keep Bailey Zappi because you've seen so many guys go down, especially when you look at a team like the Giants who burned through 3 quarterbacks so quickly in the season because of injuries. It couldn't hurt to have a guy there just in case.
Yeah, well, just look at the Browns last year with Alex Van Pelt. I mean, he's pulling Joe Flacco off the couch, which, say what you will about Bailey Zappi, but I think, having him in there is probably preferable than, a guy that you're going to get in mid-season. I just don't get, they're going to go down to 3. Why would you say that? Because it's obviously it would be Bailey Zappi. They're not going to cut the 2 guys they just drafted. And Jacoby Brissett, everyone is calling him the starter, and that's, what we have to refer to him as. So I don't know what the rush is. I get Evan, the point early on with reps and all that, definitely very important. And we'll see here over the last couple of days how they divvy those things up. But I'm never in a rush to get rid of a quarterback in this league.
You're not in a rush, but let's just say that Drake May does show steady progress and understanding of the offense. At what point do you have to make that tough decision on Bailey Zappi, and do you only get rid of him if it's in some part of a transaction that you're getting something, or do you just out and out release him?
I think deadlines matter in the league always. So until they're forced to cut the roster down from 90 to, I think there's a 75 cut down now, and then it goes all the way down to 53. I don't see any rush to get rid of Bailey Zappi before that 53-man roster cut down, because he should be on an NFL roster somewhere as a backup quarterback. So why would you put the cart before the horse, right? Why would you speed him out of here when maybe he does have a decent preseason? Maybe he has a decent, joint practice if we have one of those, right, where he shows another team something that's here with joint practices. Something along those lines could maybe increase his trade value, and you get to that roster cut down day, and it's not going to be for much, but maybe it's for a player, that's a depth player at a different position, or maybe it's for a 2025 draft pick. And I think that you have to look at those things and realize that cutting him now really is a disservice, honestly.
And I feel like in having him, it's not like it's causing confusion in the locker room or causing anyone to feel some type of way. So, for example, if they kept Mac Jones and tried to use him as a backup quarterback, that'd be really uncomfortable. But keeping Bailey Zappi, I feel like that's totally different.
So is the answer then, no matter what, you get to the 53-man cut down, if there isn't anything on the table for him, you're keeping him. Whether it's on the practice squad or whatever, but he's going to stay on this team until such time where there's something to be gotten for him.
I think so. It's just it's too important of a position in the league to just, all right, we're good. I do think that there's a world where you feel like Drake May is the number 2, but if it really came down to it and you had to put a guy into a game in the first few weeks of the season, that you still might go to Bailey Zappi just because he's a little bit more versed and has a little bit more experience. But I just think when you need quarterbacks like this, we saw what happened, like Tamara pointed out, with other teams in the past. It's why be in a rush?
The 3 of you seem a little bit more hesitant than I am. I think when Drake May is ready, you put him in.
I'm in that school 100%.
I definitely think put Drake May in when he's ready, but I also think that you need to have a plan if he gets hurt.
Yeah.
I would start Drake May week 1. I'm telling you that right now. Yeah. My only, my only hesitation for starting him week 1 is it's a long season. Yeah. And they don't have a bye until week 14 this year. And if you want to convince me that September is an extension of the preseason, and we're not going to figure out the offensive line until maybe mid-October. And so maybe you sit him for the first 4 weeks of the season. But the data that suggests that sitting the quarterback is the only thing that works. It really isn't backed up. Like, if you look at the quarterbacks from last year, the top 10 quarterbacks in QBR, 7 of them started as rookies. The only ones that don't start as rookies are Mahomes and Jordan Love. Like, those are your two in Rodgers when he comes back.
And,
that was
and both
20
of them
years ago.
had playoff quarterbacks in front of them.
Right. And
Right.
it just all these examples, guys that weren't necessarily ready, like Josh Allen. He started 11 games his rookie season. Lamar Jackson really wasn't there yet as a passer and started his rookie season, then started a playoff game for Baltimore also. So there's just a lot of examples of it going both ways, and I feel like the conversation's always about, well, Patrick Mahomes and Jordan Love sat, so that means that everybody has to sit. And
Yeah.
I just don't think that that's accurate.
So as our viewers can see, our cameras are now turned back on the field. Session 1, or what do they call it?
Period.
First period 1 is over.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at stretching right now. As they always do, anyone that's watched these broadcasts before is accustomed to seeing this. The music goes up, players start stretching, and once that's done, they'll go into, is this considered a period?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so stretch period.
So once they're done with this, they'll go into period 3,
Yeah.
and you will see period 3. So that's going to be cool. I think compared to other live practice broadcasts we've done in the past, you're going to see more of the practice than you ever have in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, of course, an indication in the new regime. It's not all as much cloak and dagger as it used to be. Whether that's for better or worse, we'll
Yeah.
find out
Yeah.
in September and October.
Well, it's definitely a lot of really, interesting pieces. And I think the big key part for me with Elliott Wolf was, talking about young players are going to play. And I think early through the spring OTAs, maybe some spots that you might feel they have some depth questions. It seems, at least for the time being, that they're content to, really get a look at some of these younger players. And, we've talked about the cornerback position where, Miles Bryant really has played a pretty big role the last couple of years. He's no longer around. Some of the role players are gone, Lawrence Guy being one on defense as well. So you just have some young guys like Isaiah Bolden and Sean Wade and Alex Austin and Tristan Hill. Some of these younger players that, feels like through OTAs kind of have an opportunity to secure a role on this defense. And I mean, I think it's a big piece of what this new regime is trying to do, is offer opportunities for these young guys to excel. So
I hope they stick to that.
Yeah, me too.
I do, because I think there's a world still where there's a lot of veteran guys on this team that could play over some of those younger players.
Sure.
Maybe not so much on the defensive side of the ball, but offensively, we've talked so much about Juju Smith-Schuster and his role in all of this. If he's playing over Javon Baker and Jalen Polk, I think that's a mistake for them, because whether the results are there right away or not is not necessarily the point, I feel like, especially early on in the season. So I really hope that they stick to, let's let the young guys play, and this goes back to the quarterback as well. You just really hope that that's what we're going to do here. I know we always talk about the Packers, Deuce, and watching those joint practices, and you just see those young guys that are out there for Green Bay and how much it's benefited them to grow together in unison. The receivers, Jordan Love, that's what the Patriots, I hope, are going to emulate.
As we look at over the field, do you see anything new? Any contraptions? Any equipment? Anything new that we haven't seen before?
Well, I mean, for the viewers, probably new for them over on the far field. They have, basically a giant screen set up with 3 different places for the ball to go. That's been consistently part of all the practices that they've had so far. A lot of footwork drills. I'm sure you'll see drills coming up here in a minute where, the quarterbacks are going to drop back. They're going to jump over a couple pads, and then one of the coaches is going to yell out, one of the colors there. I guess it's red, yellow, blue, as to which area to target. So those have been a big part of it. I know, Fred, you were eyeing down there. Looks like they got some kind of
if we could just hold the camera for a second, just pan back right a little bit. I don't know if they can hear me. Yeah, keep going. So where that orange thing is, it seems to be a contraption that eventually that will raise up and players will have to go underneath it. Or I don't know. You call it, Evan, the Callahan sled?
Yeah, so actually back right corner, I don't know if that's where we're pointed right now, where waste innovation sign is.
Yeah.
So those are the Callahan sleds. So Bill Callahan was the offensive line coach in Cleveland for years, and personally, we all know we're all Scarnecchia guys here, but Bill Callahan is the other name in offensive line coaching that's considered one of the greatest of all time. And he has actually designed his own blocking sled. And the idea is to mimic more of what you're going to do against a defensive player.
If we
got to
could
get underneath it.
If we could just pan right a little bit more.
Yeah, right under the
Bud
there's
Light
two coaches
sign.
standing by them. Right
Yeah,
now in
if
the
we
back
could go
right.
to where the waste innovation sign is, and there's a couple blocking sleds right below. Keep going with the camera. Okay, well, I don't know if they can hear me, but once they start using it, we'll point it out.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed that the camera's on it right now. If we can freeze up, now they're going to move. Okay. So, all right. So you see the dummies underneath the Bud Light banner right to the left. Now each one of those have a jersey number. Is there any significance to the jersey numbers on those blocking dummies?
Well, there are defensive players. There's a 8, there's a 5,
Yeah.
right? And so my guess is that it's telling you which defensive player you're blocking. You're going to block guys differently. If you're going to block Jabril Peppers, that's a different block than blocking Devon Gottschalk, right?
Okay.
So I'm assuming that's the way that is set up. But a lot of the things that we're seeing, like the Callahan sled, some of the different sleds that they have that are now angled, a lot of this is set up for them to block outside zone, right? That's the idea, is that instead of straight on with the pad, but now you have something that's a little bit more at an angle. And the idea is to create that horizontal step so that you're repping an outside zone step versus repping a downhill or a gap scheme where you're just coming straight off the ball.
Gotcha.
So there are different angles, different sort of ideas, but Bill Callahan actually has a trademark on that sled.
So
That's his sled.
maybe we can get that. If you pan right with the camera, keep pan right. No, the other way. Nope. Okay. Well, it's tough to, yeah.
Also, has that field goal post always been narrow?
Oh, there we go. Right there. Stop. Those are the Callahan sleds.
Yeah.
Those two pieces of equipment right there. And you notice that they're angled down. Those are really hard to move unless you hit them just right. If you don't hit them just right, they dig in.
Yeah.
And you can't slide them. So you've really got to get your pads low and come up, get underneath, and to move those things. So it'll be interesting once they start using that, who does it well and who doesn't. So those are the Callahan sleds, and as Evan said, Callahan has a patent on those.
Yeah.
So.
And Scott Peters, of course, worked under Callahan,
Right.
so maybe he got a deal
Now
on
made
on
all the
those.
connections.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Callahan is now in Tennessee with his son is the head coach of the Titans. So he moved from Cleveland to Tennessee, and Scott Peters obviously came here with Alex Van Pelt. But one of the better, if not up there on the Mount Rushmore of offensive line coaches, Scarnecchia, some other guys.
Yeah.
So.
Tamara, did you say
Yeah,
something?
I was saying, have I just not paid attention to this? But has that field goal post always been that narrow?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. They move them around, but yeah, there's two narrow ones. There's that one, and then I think the one to our right in this one is narrow as well. Yeah.
So a couple absences. I'm
Yeah.
still working through this though, but no Sione Taki. Haven't seen him yet. He was one that had missed. I believe it was the last 2 sessions, I think. And I haven't spotted Joshua Uche yet.
Okay.
So a couple guys that, of course, reserve the right. Some of these guys might have snuck out of here.
But as you said, Judon is here.
Yeah, we saw Judon, and one little thing about Gottschalk, no practice jersey on with him. Just wearing a red sweatshirt. Not sure what that means. He was out here really early, getting loosened up, but he has not been around for the OTA practices. So it seems like he's on kind of a reduced workload plan. It does bring back some memories of Judon last summer where
You always wonder if those are hold-ins.
Yeah. If he's no, I'm here. I got my helmet, but I'm not going to put my number on yet or something. I don't know.
Players have wisened up with the holdouts and how they do hold-ins.
So you don't get fined.
So they don't get fined because they're physically here,
Yeah.
but they're not actually participating in anything because they want a new contract. So.
All right, so now we're into period 3. They've broken up to basically offense to our right defense to our left. Might be special
Well,
teams.
yeah, you're going to see some kickoff here.
Yeah.
And, this is a little bit of a glimpse inside what this new kickoff is going to look like. We've seen some different kind of styles of ways that they've approached it, but let the images speak for themselves.
Yep.
And you're just kind of seeing, they can't move until the guy catches the ball. So,
I was confused when I first heard the rule. I thought the line of scrimmage was going to be closer to where the ball's being received. It really you still have some distance to, to get down there.
Yeah,
it's not. So I don't think there will be the breakaways that I thought there would be if the line was closer, because I think now there's time for the, for the defense, for the kicking team to kind of see where the receiver's going and kind of adjust.
Now I'm not sure if the videos are they doing the kickoffs right now?
Yeah,
but
they are.
There's an example of ball on its side and kind of a squib kick, and you can see Marcus Jones having a heck of a time trying to field it.
Yeah.
That's something they've been kind of experimenting with as well. So you see the referees involved. I'm sure they're just as curious as we are to see, what teams are going to throw at them in these opening weeks. Do you go full bore in the preseason to figure out how it works, or do you feel like and you maybe hold back a little bit for when you get into the regular season? Just one of those weird things in the NFL where all of a sudden there's going to be kickoffs are just going to be different this year, and I'm sure each team has their own philosophy how they're going to approach it.
It seems like the players are. I don't know if my mic's on. I think it's off. So
I can hear you.
Yeah. It seemed like the players are excited about the new rules. I was laughing today when Gerard Mayo was like that. Jelani Tavai was like, put me in, I want to be involved. And he's like, you got to get healthy first.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering just, how many other players are that excited about these new rule changes?
Yeah, well, Jelani Tavai is bothering Gerard to kick off as a non-kicker, like the Chiefs have been doing. But we've seen them experiment a lot with two returners, and that's going to have to be the way you go, at least for most teams, because we saw Ryland, I think it was, that just kicked off one where he angled it, mortar kicked it right to a spot. And if teams are going to do that and the returner is in the middle or the returner is on the left-hand side trying to set up the return, the kicker is just going to kick the ball like a punt directionally away from where the returner is. And now all of a sudden you're down inside the 10, down inside the 5 if it's a good bounce. So I think teams are going to experiment with this two returner look. And then the other thing I would say is just all the different things you can do off of two returners is really intriguing as well, because you can do reverses, you can do fake reverses. The returner that doesn't get the ball can turn into a lead blocker. There's all sorts of different type of schematic things that are going to be fun and interesting.
Evan,
teams that have risks.
Evan, I was going to say I really like that two returner idea, and I think that could be a way that a guy like Jalen Reagor makes this roster. Is if you have Jalen Reagor and Marcus Jones back there, I think that could be a dynamic duo that could make them really successful in this new rule.
But with the kicking team not being able to release off the line of scrimmage until the ball is either caught or hits the ground, I think you're guaranteed to have a return at least to the 25.
Yeah.
It seems, right?
I mean, it would seem that way, but even just watching these couple here, it's tough. It's tough to field it, and even if you have these grandiose plans of how you're going to use two returners, if the guy can't cleanly field the ball, it's hard to then, all right, now get up and run to the,
Well, that's a strategy
hard.
Maybe is like give us a couple extra seconds to get down there, because like I said, you can release once it hits the ground.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait until it's in the returner's hands.
Right.
So that gives you that couple extra seconds to get down there, because without that, like I said, you're guaranteed to be at least to the 25 before anyone, is even near them.
That's why I believe the best thing to do is to hit those line drive mortar kicks that they were just experimenting with and make the ball bounce, because then the returner also then will have to corral it and then get himself set up to run, whereas the kickoff coverage unit, they can go as soon as the ball hits the ground.
Right.
I'm really fascinated to see how they block it, because you can't move until the ball either hits the ground or the returner catches it, and a lot of guys have their back to the returner. So you don't know exactly how. So someone's going to have to call it out on the line of scrimmage. That go type of signal. And what we've seen so far with the ones that they've done in practice is they've really struggled to get that initial point of attack block. And there's one guy through that just every single time he's just through the line of scrimmage because of how difficult it is to get the angle. And you just see it time and time again that the returners just met right away. So that's why I still think that having somebody back there that can dance a little bit, like a Marcus Jones, like a Pop Douglas, that has some of that agility and that escapability is going to be big, because the straight line speed guy is just going to run into a brick wall.
So the main reason they're doing this is health, right? Do you think that's actually going to accomplish that? I mean, it seems like, I don't know.
It's a good question.
Just as much chance to get hurt on this than anything else.
Not statistically.
How do we know?
Because of the spring leagues that have done it so far.
Yeah, but they're not as fast and as big.
Right, but there's not a full. You're talking about a much smaller gap that you're running up. That's the problem. Is like it's almost like a mini car crash when you go from the 30 to all the way down the field. So there's a lot. Everybody's moving a lot slower on this play than what they would on a traditional NFL kickoff. So that's the idea. The concussion numbers in the spring leagues are way, way down compared to the traditional NFL rule kickoff. So the early returns from what they've done it in different leagues suggest that it's going to limit injuries significantly.
Okay, well, we'll see.
I was just going to point out, Fred, one more thing that we've noticed before is right now you have Juju Smith-Schuster and Tyquan Thornton working just with Tyler Hughes right now. So, the offense down there seems like they're kind of working on screen game. But these are two guys that, talk about a really loaded wide receiver. I don't want to say loaded in terms of maybe not the talent part, but loaded with bodies right now, at least. Two veteran guys who you brought some young guys in. You signed KJ Osborne. Clearly these guys right now don't play special teams. So, Tyquan had a pretty good few OTA sessions. I mean, he's made some plays. We saw it last year too, but I think he's a guy who wants to keep that momentum going. Love to see. I mean, Juju showed up a couple times last OTA too. So, just two veterans that feels like their backs are a little bit against the wall, and they need to have strong days.
Yeah.
I think every time they come out here.
100%, Deuce. I've singled them out as my odd men out. I feel like all offseason long in terms of I see those two as the potential two not to make the roster when it comes down to the final 53. And I think they're going to have to be consistent, not just one day in OTAs, but the entire camp in order for them to have a chance.
We have seen Tyquan as a gunner on special teams a little bit, but with his frame, you worry about injuries happening from him playing that spot. But we should say, not that I know we're spending a lot of time on special teams, but that's what they're doing right now. Without Matthew Slater, there is a wide open competition there for the other gunner spot. I'm sure, assuming Brendan Schooler is going to be on one side there, but on the other side, there's going to be an opportunity there for somebody to take over for Slater. I don't see it with Tyquan. I just don't see the fit with his frame, and I think he's going to get jammed a lot and not be able to make a huge impact as a gunner. But if you want to talk about him having a role on special teams at all, that's probably where you're going to find himself on the field in that phase of the game.
And speaking of frame, I could see that being the reason why that Juju ends up making the team, because of his frame and his ability to block and help other things with the offense that EVP is trying to run.
Yeah,
I think Juju's spot is big on what Kendrick Bourne's health is to start the year. If Kendrick Bourne has to start the year on IR or PUP, then maybe that opens up the spot for Juju. But if you have Juju, you have Kendrick Bourne healthy, you have Jalen Polk, even Javon Baker a little bit, KJ Osborne. It's a lot of the same type of receiver, and we're pretty redundant there. So I wonder how much Bourne's health will play a role in all of this.
So we're doing some punt here out of the end zone. Again, just talk about Adrian Phillips. I mean, the guy, nobody's really mentioned him, but, did play a pretty sizable special teams role. As the outback on the punt team, you had Marty Mapu, you got Jalen Hawkins in there now. So, it's not just Slater's role on special teams. It's a number of different roles, including, Chris Board's gone. I mean, a lot of, Cody Davis, these guys that played extensive special team roles. So, Paul not here, so just to give him a shout out, it's like just getting Mapu involved in stuff like that, getting him on the field as much as possible. I don't know how the safety position is going to play out, but again, it goes back to the first point, young players having an opportunity, but not just special teams guys, like Marty Mapu, guy that you want to see on defense that, is going to probably play some special teams as well now. And, hopefully that helps give them, some development.
Yeah, I asked Gerard about Marty Mapu, and he consistently mentioned that the versatility is going to be big for him, where if you're playing a heavy run team, you're probably not going to play him at the second level of the defense, but maybe in other weeks where you're playing more of a spread offense, he could fit there as a traditional linebacker. When they scouted him, he said that they viewed him in 3 different spots, potentially like a big nickel role in the slot, safety, and inside linebacker. and he just said that it's going to be a matchup-based thing, that they're going to move him around and use him as a chess piece. That sounds great in theory, but you have to be able to hang your hat on one thing.
Yeah.
I feel like in this league to make it consistently. So it's cool to be a jack of all trades, but you also have to have something that this is what I'm really good at, and this is where I go on third and money, when the game is on the line.
On that far corner, they're using that Callahan sled now.
It doesn't look fun.
You can see it's a little bit tougher than the normal sled that they block. Yeah.
As soon as you get too high, it stops.
Yeah.
And that's, the whole thing with. That's why I was a terrible offensive and defensive lineman, because I too high, and every single guy got underneath me and just pushed me right back.
It's not the skinny frame.
No.
Yeah. Quarterbacks are doing some target practice in the middle of the field.
Yeah, it's cool. They have colors on there now. They have also been doing numbers at different times, so they call it out in the drop. They don't tell you beforehand. So they'll go through the drop, and then AVP will say blue, red, white, right? I think is the 3 colors. And then they have to make a split-second decision or reaction to throw it in the right target.
Yep, you got red, blue on the outside, white's in the middle.
They said they are keeping track of who's winning.
Okay.
Bailey Zappi claims that he's winning.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Okay. Yeah, I see somebody there.
And for those tracking reps, it does seem like Bailey Zappi's going second.
They read the they saw the
Sorry. Drake May demoted already. What happened?
Oh my gosh, Deuce.
I kid. I am curious too, though. Javon Baker warmed up last week, didn't really practice. I'm curious if he's gonna be participating much at all today.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a few of those guys still. You mentioned Taki.
Yeah.
Gerard mentioned Jelani Tavai as someone that's a little bit banged up for this time of year. So there are going to be a couple of guys that aren't going to be a full go, I think.
It's just like, and I know it's spring and it's, we're in June here, but just think with a rookie receiver, loaded room, every time you're missing reps, it just isn't great. So just love to see Baker back out there as ASAP. But
I like that you mentioned that, Deuce, because I feel like that's why Taekwon is where he is today. Like, he's just been hurt all the time.
N'Keal Harry, not to say that N'Keal Harry or Taekwon would be
Harry.
off to a great career, had they not gotten hurt early on, but it just doesn't help. And the guys that, like Jacoby Myers, who was just always out there and just kept stacking it day after day after day, and earning the quarterback's trust, earning the coach's trust. What do they always say? Availability trumps ability. That's such a big thing. So hopefully Baker's able to get back out there. But Polk's been out there. He's been out there plenty, and he's been one that has gotten plenty of reps.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more out of Polk.
Yeah.
In some of the team drills. One of the big things you worried about him was just speed and separation ability. And his skill set will probably shine a little bit more once the pads come on. He can be a little bit more physical and win at the catch point. But still, with a receiver, when you're in non-contact, non-padded practices, you'd like to see some flashes from him to be able to get open and create some separation when guys can't really get their hands on him or do much physically right now. So he has been a little bit quiet. I'm still thinking that he's probably more in that Jacoby Myers school of training camp is not really going to be where he's going to shine, and then we're going to get into the games and he's going to make all these plays, but we'll see.
Yeah, he's a little bit, he's in that rookie spot right now where there are veterans out there that are kind of taking the top reps, and, you see Polk and Baker trying to develop that chemistry with May, but hard to kind of earn it with Brissett, and limited opportunities. You're kind of rotating through the quarterbacks, just love to see him get some consistent reps with one of the quarterback who starts to, play into what he's good at and, find the spots that he likes to get the ball, start to see some of that stuff. But I'd love to see him outside too, just to see, all these guys, like you said earlier, Evan, are inside kind of receivers. I mean, most of them, it's like, oh, well, he can play outside, but most of them are inside guys. But him and Baker, I'd love to see them just, be able to get outside a little bit, get off the line. I mean, I think Baker's movement skills have been have made an impression on me.
Would you guys agree? We have 2 practice fields in front of us, and the one to our left has been totally devoted to special teams so far. Would you agree that that's something we haven't seen before, that they've devoted one field to special teams for this long at a practice?
A little bit. I mean, they're kind of going through it. I mean, they did kickoff. Now they're doing punt. We'll see what they get into now. But no, I think that's pretty good observation. Looks like Godshot does have his jersey on down there now too. So I don't know what that
The
means.
kickoff
And Fred,
roll, the time spent on the kickoff roll will be interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to devote a little bit extra practice time this offseason to the kickoff roll. And maybe that is why it was bleeding into the punt period and why it lasted a little bit longer.
And also, special teams last year was not very good at all. And so when you have a new rule, they weren't really that good last year, plus all those people that we talked about that aren't on special teams anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to dedicate this time for it.
And the new special teams coordinator, Jeremy Springer, he's a high energy guy.
Mhm.
He's a high energy guy.
He's
So
definitely an Energizer Bunny.
I met him in the spring at our coaches clinic, and I asked him, I said, whether at any of your other stops, like, how often do you have to lobby for more time in practice? Like all the time, all the time, so that's a good indication that he might be winning those arguments.
Well, he looks a lot more in his element. I know when we first met him back in like February, he did not look like he was enjoying the local weather, but now it seems like he's got his big sun hat on and in his shorts. So I think he's a little bit more in his happy place now than he was in the winter.
I've yet to come across a special teams coach that isn't a ball of energy.
Oh yeah, right.
I feel like even Cam McCord, for all of his faults, was a firecracker on the field.
Coffee, mainline.
In order to be one of those guys that's in the weeds like that on special teams, you have to be a little bit of a nut, I think.
You see some of the running backs doing some footwork drills with the bags.
Yeah, it seems like this is a little bit of a new thing too, where they throw some tunes on when when they're getting ready to warm up. These kind of little team warm-up drills. A little easier to move when you got a beat, right?
Yeah, sure. Keep it up. Keep it.
But again, Baker. So Baker is here bringing up the rear in these wide receiver drills, which we'll see if he sticks
more
around.
than he did last week.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's a good sign.
Steve Belichick. I'm sorry, not Steve. Brian Belichick.
Did have Steve here last week, right?
He did. He was visiting. Yeah, he brought some of his fellow coaches from Washington.
Lost Steve.
Yeah.
Just watching the quarterbacks throw, I still feel like this is the best look that we're going to get of Drake May's mechanics for a while. And I do see some improvements. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that it's the world's difference, but you see that his front arm is a little bit more tucked in than it was when we first got here. I think they've worked hard on that to try to shorten up the release and the whole motion.
Yeah.
And his footwork, I think, has been better than what a lot of us expected it to be. Obviously, there's no live pass rush yet, so we'll see. But you can see the arm is more like wishbone now, whereas before when he would come up open, his whole shoulders and everything kind of shrug up together like that, and it just created a much longer throwing motion. So you can see some of the things that they're trying to do to tighten it up just a little bit. You don't want to tweak it too much because then you get into a position where he can break completely if you're messing with too many different elements of his throwing motion. But you definitely can see the little tweaks that they're trying to make.
So how long do you think it takes to develop these good habits? Like completely, like get rid of the old habits and then always do these new
footwork,
habits?
I feel like you can do in an off season. But like I said, you want to start from the ground up. And that's what they're doing. They're working on his feet first to time up his feet with his eyes, with the drop, with the routes that are being run.
And the thing is, like, it'll look good now, but the key is when it's real and there's pressure, does he revert back to his old habits, which is what a lot of guys do. They go back to what's comfortable under pressure.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think if you start to mess with too many different elements in one fell swoop, that's when you also risk him just completely coming apart mechanically. So I like the fact that they're starting with the feet. Let's focus on that, and let's not worry so much about the upper body yet. And then they'll get to the upper body maybe next off season is the upper body off season, So you have to work in almost in stages because you don't want to just throw it all at him at once because then he's got a lot on his plate at that point.
And honestly though, when you look at May, we're nitpicking. It looks fine. But like you can always improve, and if you can, get a split second faster release, then do it. And if you can get your footwork, your base a little bit better, then do it. But when you look at him, he looks fine. But like I said, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, last week he threw that interception where he threw it over a guy's head and the corner was just parked right behind him. Those are the plays that you saw at UNC that you want to see him cut down on, and that's where the footwork comes into it. It's more of a timing thing and a rhythm thing than it is like his feet are jumbled up or sloppy. So if you can get him synced up, then when you see it all come together, feet, eyes, throwing motion, all of it come together, he makes some really pretty downfield throws. It's just got to be a little bit more consistent.
And so right now they're doing handoff, run to the right, and then roll out to the left.
Yeah, this is a staple.
It's been all spring,
Yeah, you see, I mean, even you go back to Green Bay days and you see them doing this drill with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this is a
What I love about this drill is that you have the handoff exchange, and then the coach is actually flipping it to the quarterback, and that's allowing him to make the throw. So this is all bootleg stuff.
Yep.
All the bootlegs and all the moving pockets. So when we talk about the offensive line, and I know everybody's concerned about the offensive line, but especially with a quarterback like Drake who can move as well as he can, they're going to move the pocket a ton on first and second down. So you're not going to get into a lot of first down situations in this offense where the quarterback's just going to be sitting there in the pocket with 11 guys coming after him, right? It's going to be a lot more smoke and mirrors and moving pockets like this. And he's so good at throwing on the move and he's so athletic that it's going to fit him really well.
I don't know if you guys clocked it yet, but Julian Edelman is here. He's currently standing down near the goal line of the left field with Matthew Slater right at the pylon.
I did not clock that.
Yeah,
Deuce.
he's Jules talking to Slater down there at the pylon. At the goal line. So
a lot of guys in town for what?
Yeah, for Tom Brady night.
Yeah.
Induction ceremony Wednesday night.
Yeah, we'll have that live on Patriots.com if you're not going to be here in person. It'll actually, Chad Graff from The Athletic had a little story about, what to look forward to. He had it starting at 7. It's actually going to start around 5:30 on Patriots.com with the red carpet. So we'll be live, 5:30, whenever that starts, all the way through until around 9:30 on Patriots.com. So you'll see everything.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be pretty cool. And like I said, Edelman's here, and there's hundreds of players that are going to be here, plus some special guests. So it's going to be a great night. Whether you're here or watching it streaming, you're going to really enjoy this. So can't wait. You can call or write in. Webradio@patriots.com is the email. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. People writing in already. Jared in Vermont. Do you think a few veterans would have skipped these practices if Belichick were still here? My feeling is yes. I wonder if having a players coach like Mayo benefits management in the sense that players may feel a little more obligated to do the coach a solid and not play hardball over contracts, at least in the early stages.
Well, I think Evan spoke to that. I mean, I don't know anybody who wants to give away money just to not come. It's a lot more about the hold-in these days. I don't really necessarily see guys have skipping on Bill. I mean, I do think that there's a lot of value that this is a new coach with a new system, and you really, you want to reestablish the culture, and I think they've done a great job this offseason of identifying those players and, extending Barmore and Duggar and, really kind of reestablishing a core. So I don't know. I don't really see the candidates to that would be like, no, I'm not showing up, because these guys want to get paid. So, Judon's here. I'm sure he's probably having talks behind the scenes about, wanting to get a bump of money, and Godchild might be asking for that too. So the only way you can do that is you come here without getting fined.
Yeah,
so
in all fairness, even with Bill, that only happened a couple times. Like Deuce said, it's been more hold-ins.
Yeah.
Where guys come, they don't really participate, but they're here when they're looking for a new contract.
Like, what was the thing with Guy? Was it last year with Guy where but he was at these, right? Like he came to these, but then he,
it's more like Judon last year, where you're like, why is he not participating some days? It's just this weird stuff that you kind of notice. But
yeah, and then as soon as he got that extension,
hey guys,
hey, yeah,
right.
I feel better.
And now he's in there, and plus you have to balance these things with, Judon and Godchild being two established veterans that, you should probably be taking strides at this point in the season, not to, put them in harm's way. Valuable guys.
Yep.
There's a lot to be said for a lot of new coaches on this staff. Even as a veteran player, you have to find a role under this regime. It's a totally different regime.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure that you have a role still on this team. As much as we all love Matthew Judon, there have been trade conversations about Matthew Judon that we've heard rumors
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that, maybe he could be somebody that is traded. So if he plays hardball, then that could be a possibility that opens the door a little bit more. If we're worlds apart on contract here, we're not gonna find a middle ground on a deal. So this is what we're gonna do with Judon. I don't think that there would have been any more holdouts.
What would you guys do with Judon? Would you,
I'd give him 2 years. Yeah, I'd give him a bump this year. I'd extend him into next year. I'd have a 2-year deal and give myself at least a chance this offseason to really try to, fill that void that he's going to inevitably, get. I mean, it's an important position. I really do like Anthony Jennings, but I think he's, him and Uche are part of a mosaic that you have to put together along the edge. It's not like Judon where he's a guy that you can play 3 downs and you don't really have much concerns about him. So long-term, huge position.
You worry a lot about their competitiveness as a team overall if you take the Jenga piece that's Matthew Judon out of the puzzle.
Right.
And I understand that we're not necessarily talking about them winning the Super Bowl or anything like that, but just having a team week in and week out that has something to play for is maybe a starting point for this team right now. And if you take Judon out of that pass rush, I just don't know where you go from there in terms of secondary pass rush outside of Christian Barmore.
Yep.
It's just going to be really tough. So I think they almost owe it to themselves and owe it to the team to keep Judon around at least till the trade deadline. If they're 1-8 at the trade deadline or something like that, and some contender is offering you something for Judon and you haven't reached that extension, then maybe that's when you entertain.
Yeah.
I was going to agree because I'm like, we saw what happened when Judon got hurt last year and how it kind of inflated the defense, like on the field and also in the locker room. And then also you didn't draft anybody to develop behind him either. So now it's like you have to keep him for at least another year or two. So hopefully you can draft someone next year and have them develop and then grow into someone.
I mean, the last thing you hate is to see the defense, regress. You want to at least keep it at the level it was last year. Now, I get this is a tougher schedule this year, so you may not get the point results that you had last year where you were giving up, 7 to 10 points. But, from a just performance, you want to try to say, okay, defense is fine. Let's focus on the offense. And you take Judon out of that mix, like Evan said, that Jenga piece, and who knows what can happen.
Well, and also, offset it with an offense that can actually move the ball a little bit. You know, just go from the worst offense in the league that, isn't picking up first downs, is putting the defense in harm's way, isn't scoring points. The defense is like, man, we got to score ourselves if we're going to win. So I think as much as, the difficulty might increase with a tougher schedule, with a complementary offense, it can help a lot of things. But, I think there's certainly points to make on the defensive, turnover kind of drop off. You talk about teams that force a lot of fumbles being real tough. They weren't one of those teams last year, and I say that as a Jabril Peppers super fan. But one name I would just throw out is O'Shane Jimenez, who is an experienced NFL guy. I think he had 6.5 sacks as a rookie with the Giants. He's kind of fought some injuries. He's been a bit player. He's been more of a designated pass rusher kind of guy with the Giants. But he's kind of, to me, that fourth guy after the big three. Does he have anything to offer? 6'4", 250, good size. That's, what they usually look for in one of those edge guys. Without Judon here, you haven't seen Uche. Even Jennings missed a couple practices. You saw a lot of Jimenez getting some opportunities. So he's just a guy I would definitely, I'm going to be keeping an eye on here as we get into the summer to see if he has any kind of, pass rush juice. Even if he's just like, he's going right now, watching him do a rep right now. Even if he's just like an Uche and he's only going to be a one-trick pony, I think that's a trick that they need more of.
Carrie writes in, I must know, where did Deuce get the Patriots sunglasses from, and where can we get them?
The Patriots Pro Shop, I believe they're $8 because I lose sunglasses every other day, so I don't invest. I just get cheapos wherever I can. But we were saying maybe we should get some pit vipers for the content squad at training camp this year. Like if we all had matching badass.
You mean Hardo glasses?
Hardo glasses.
Yeah.
Hardo content team glasses.
Are they sponsors? Are they?
I don't think so, but we can talk to them.
We should get some Coach Prime sunglasses. The ones that he wears?
Okay.
I like that.
That's what we should be wearing.
Are they bedazzled?
Oh.
No.
Tamara loves her some
No.
bedazzled.
They're not bedazzled. They're not bedazzled.
You like some bedazzled stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Do you or do you not?
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the New England Patriots. When you're bedazzling, you can have your Bud Light. What do we got going
and here
on
comes
now?
the owner,
Oh,
Mr. RKK, taking a trip out to
RKK coming out to the field.
serve the boys. Got
Or
some
as I call him, Big Boss Man.
big boss man.
Yeah.
Fred is Boss Man. He's Big Boss
Yeah.
Man.
These lower,
So what's
lower
juice?
right
The
corner.
final boss man.
This
I'm
is
little boss man.
He's just dude.
Little baby boss. Ah, man. So yeah, did anybody ask Gerard about the refs? I don't know if they had come out yet.
Yeah,
by
so,
the
yeah.
time.
The refs are here. The
Yeah.
refs are in town, and he said that he doesn't want them to be afraid to throw flags.
Yeah.
He wants them to be involved in practice. So we'll see some of that. We see chain gang. Don't know how much longer we're going to be able to say that.
Right.
So for the time being, we have a chain
It's all
gang.
digital now.
Yeah, I like that.
Lasers.
I like that.
You like,
Digital?
you like a laser? A laser?
I love it because it drives me nuts.
Microchips.
The amount of times I see the ball spotted incorrectly. And those inches matter. They do matter. When all of a sudden they put the ball down
Yeah.
and they know the first down marker is like a foot ahead, and you just see the ref just pick the ball up and move it over the first down marker.
Wrong.
What are we doing?
Killing us.
First player that Robert Kraft greeted was Christian Gonzalez.
Oh, there you go.
Good pick. Good pick.
It's a good one. Who, again, looked like he's picked right up where he left off. Now I'm not sure where them guys are right now.
Who?
Where 0 and 31 are
right
right
in front
now.
of us. Right in front of us. He's got a red
Oh, yeah, I see.
red cap on right now.
It's
They're actually right next to each other.
Yeah.
we haven't seen. Granted, the Patriots haven't necessarily had the blue chip talent of a Christian Gonzalez in a little bit, but just the way that he moves on the practice field is so different
I
than
know.
everybody else. And it's always really fun to watch, even him go through positional.
I know,
drills.
even when he's like playing offense, like when they do drills
Going
together
against
and he
air.
just has to give like a look, it's like, man, that guy, he looks smooth doing anything.
They were doing a red zone like goal line fade drill, and he one-handed catched one in the corner of the end zone, and I was just like, maybe he can play receiver. Like, I don't know. Yeah, he's
but
incredible.
But you know, we've seen throughout the spring. I mean, and granted, it's a rookie OTA and 3 veteran OTAs, but you see some of these where Alex Austin and Marco Wilson kind of get the top reps. Not to say that that's what's happening right now necessarily, but it just does seem like they want to get a long look at these guys. As
I'm excited about Alex Austin.
Same.
Yeah.
He was an NFL, as Gerard put it perfectly, he's an NFL player. Now we have to see what the ceiling is, and that's what we'll get into this year. But his tape at the end of last year was really solid. I think he's had a really good spring, and we've talked so much about the nickel spot, no Miles Bryant now. Can you move Jonathan Jones back to his natural position playing on the inside? That also might allow him to quarterback the defense a little bit more too. Maybe play some safety by rotating back there. And you have Alex Austin and Christian Gonzalez, 2 size speed guys on the outside that can go up against bigger receivers, different body types. I'm intrigued by it. We'll see if he can build on it, but he's been solid so far.
I like his attitude a lot, like off the field. I feel like he's a great person, and I feel like he listens a lot, and he leans on his veterans around him, and also Willie McGinnis, obviously, and just really soaking in everything he can.
Yeah, him and Jalen Hawkins are the 2 guys that if you're looking defensively, who might have roles that we didn't envision necessarily having huge roles coming into the season. Hawkins has played some in the league in other spots, so it's not like he's a complete afterthought or cast off or something like that. You know, he has NFL starts under his belt in past stints, so he could be somebody that could factor into the deep safety conversation at free safety.
definitely a special teams guy too. When you talk about Cody Davis ain't here anymore, like
Yeah.
you know, that's the kind of guy that could maybe sneak on. But Gerard working here down with the defense right now. It seems like they're kind of working on sorting out route distribution here.
Yeah, I've noticed him do this a little bit more in recent practices. First couple practices, we saw him out here floating around and bouncing around from station to station. And then maybe the last 2, I would say, he's been pretty much focused on being in the defensive huddle, which I feel like is where he's going to find his home at the end of the day. I think he's still trying to figure out where he belongs at times on the field, and let AVP and those guys do the offense, and stick with your bread and butter on defense.
Brian Belichick down there. I don't know. I'm kind of a body language guy.
Yeah.
I'm sensing more confidence from him as
Yeah.
a coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's like kind of coming into his own. You know, Dad's not here anymore, but he's got this job on his own,
Yeah.
and I think he's kind of embracing it.
Yeah, they were working in the same spot last week when we were down close, and you could really just, hear him speaking to his guys, and I agree with you, Fred. I mean, he's he's been around this stuff for so long, and I remember you guys have old videos from probably 2008, 2009 of Bill with young Brian on the sideline.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's been in the thick of this for, as long as anybody, so he should be confident, and just an opportunity for him to continue to grow without, his dad and his brother around. And I just love the fact there's still a Belichick here. I think that's, just great that there's at least one holdover that we can continue that legacy here.
Yeah.
Definitely more vocal than what I've seen him in the past. And certainly with not just the safeties, though, with the entire secondary. And I noticed that last week, too, Deuce, when we were sitting down there, you could hear him talking and coaching. And I don't know necessarily if I've heard that before out of him.
Yeah.
Kind of taking a backseat to his brother, his dad. And he's been more involved.
That's kind of what I mean. It's great. I like it. Looking over to our right, quarterbacks are working with wide receivers.
Yeah, another kind of staple here of OTAs have been, kind of two quarterbacks at once. They'll switch sides, throwing each side, and I mean it's a fun drill just to kind of compare wide receivers to each other, kind of how they move. You get a little bit of a sample there with KJ Osborne and Tyquan Thornton. But so you watch Juju kind of round one off there.
Yeah.
But I want to see Baker. I think these are the kind of drills where is he still up here? I don't know if he is.
I don't see him anymore.
Yeah. There goes Jalen Polk.
Zappy and May.
Don't run into each other, guys.
I know. They're mirroring each other.
But I did see, and Doug Hyde reported this number 16 is a tryout player here today. They continue to kind of churn the roster at wide receiver with undrafted rookies. I mean, they just brought in Jaquay Jackson. They brought in David Wallace last week, who was a slot receiver at rookie minicamp, who I thought looked kind of quick. But just interesting. They continue to kind of churn those guys, and watching Wallace right now, he's got that juke move pretty good. He's got some quick feet, but it just seems like they continue to try to churn the bottom of the roster, looking for anybody at that wide receiver position that might have some kind of potential, even though they drafted guys and signed guys and have some veteran holdovers that might be on the bubble. They are taking a look at a lot of guys.
But, and that's no different from any other year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movement in the bottom of that roster right through training camp. You'll see guys come and go. It's not a big deal. It's no indication that, things aren't right. No. You do this every year. Every year this happens.
Yeah.
It is disappointing that something's going on with Javon Baker physically.
Yeah.
He's been limited the last two sessions, so that is obviously the mental reps the most important part, and
it's not good for him.
But it's also it's fun for us to watch.
Yeah.
Him, so.
Yeah.
Well, he's got some live wire legs that just you can see that he's got some juice to him. That I'm not ready to say that none of the other guys have it, but it's I'm not too far from saying that.
Him
I like his confidence too. Like when you have a guy like that who can let his actions meet his words, it's really fun to watch.
That's what's funny, Tamara. It's like and I said it when I spoke to his coach, and he said, man, he's quiet, and nobody had him being quiet on their bingo card after his post-draft press conference, but that's been the impression of the building too, that he's kind of just a quiet, soft-spoken kid. Maybe he got taken aback and thrown into a media call right after being selected in his car, but I know that he's so far it's
who's 82?
That's that's Jaquay Jackson, the new guy.
Yeah, he dropped one, did push-ups.
Yeah, he's a Rutgers rookie.
Big guy. He's got some size to him. So that was one thing I thought was interesting about that signing was we've talked so much about who's going to play on the outside in this offense, and they will run a lot of condensed formations. So it's not necessarily like they're going to have a true outside X on every single play. But guys that have a little bit more size to them, they don't have a ton of those guys that are projected to make the team right now.
Yeah, so it's Doug Hyde reported that number 16 is rookie Rory Starkey from
okay.
Samford.
He was here at minicamp.
Okay, so another guy
rookie minicamp,
comes back.
Yeah.
Any relation to Richard Starkey,
I don't know who that
a.k.a.
is.
Ringo Starr
Oh,
of the Beatles?
the Beatles.
No, but
Paul
a
would've got
distant cousin of Starsky and Hutch.
Starkey and Hutch.
Summer is heating up at Bob's Discount Furniture with plenty of affordable and awesome styles with Bob's Summer of $9.99. See just how much $9.99 will get you with your choice of outdoor dining sets, dreamy Bobopedic mattresses, sleek reclining furniture, and more for $9.99 or less. So embrace fresh air and fresher styles only at Bob's Discount Furniture, the official furniture store of the New England Patriots. Well, you can see that you're looking at us now, so we had to turn away from the football field for period 6.
Sorry.
How many periods do we have?
Oh, many
I
periods.
feel like there's
I
usually
wanted
like
15.
Yeah, I was going to say 15.
15.
Usually around 15. We're going to get to some team drills now, though.
Yeah, so we'll, as best we can, describe what we're watching without giving away any state secrets.
I know we can't, the cameras are off now, but this other camera that they have here is also something new that I've noticed. It's a long camera, almost like a GoPro on a pole.
Yeah.
And there's a coach that's standing right behind the offensive line of scrimmage that's getting the end zone angle, but like really close up. And I have to think that that's like a quarterback thing that they then go back into the film room after practice and start comparing this drop to that drop to that drop and probably show you Aaron Rodgers doing it the right way and then you doing it the wrong way.
Well, I can tell you, though, that guy who's manning that camera is getting the best work out of anyone out there.
Yeah.
He has to hustle to get into position, when they change up. You got to be in shape to have that job, I can tell you. So right now we've got Brissett under center.
Yeah, Brissett under center, and it looks like, mostly top-end guys. Do you see Marco Wilson out there at, outside in lieu of Jonathan Jones, who I think is still recovering?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Drop ski by number 11.
Julian Edelman.
That's funny.
Right, on the sideline, Jules just shakes his head and, oh, man.
Take that number off.
I feel like there were too many of those. That would just happen, like it literally touching their hands and just bouncing right out. It's just like
Good news, he ran the right route. Started making progress because he settled inside those zone coverages off the play action, which is what he's supposed to do. And then there's somebody flash right in front of his face, and I think that's what threw him off. But they practiced that, and he should be able to catch that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's continue to see Isaiah Bolden there in the slot and some looks there. And, Raekwon McMillan, who feels like he's been on this team forever, maybe played like 3 games, but had some injury problems. They do seem like a nice throw.
A little late.
Yeah.
It's close to a practice sack, if you ask me.
I can see that. But it is
Still Brissett.
Yeah, continuing to see Nick Leverett at right guard as well.
Yeah, he's such a wide body.
Yeah, hard to
And
miss.
I do wonder about some of the size of these guys, if they're going to be truly a zone blocking team.
Judon's out there on the line, so he's
Yeah,
participating up to
right
this
into the
point.
mix.
Yeah. David Andrews manning the center as he has for many years.
Yeah. But yeah, Jalen Hawkins in the mix, as Evan pointed out too. Got a third down here coming up.
There you go.
There you go. And hits Jalen Rager on a little
Play there.
crossing route there.
Rager with some space.
Yeah,
Yards after catch.
we'll take pretty good play. But yeah, we're seeing, Keon White too in the mix here. Just curious what his year 2 looks like. He's, of all these second-year guys, he seems like one that really could make a difference.
Yeah, they could use something out of him. I think that, those third down plays are going to be big for them, though, or they're going to have tight bunches, 3 receiver bunches on one side of the formation. Then you have the backside X, and you just run them across the trash, and it's a long run for the corner to keep up with him. And that was Gonzo that got beat there.
Yeah.
So you get guys like Rager, Taekwon, guys that have some speed on those routes, then you're going to have some room. A little RPO screen.
Boom. Not much there.
tough to gauge screens this time of year.
Yeah.
Can't actually block anybody.
You really can't move anyone out of the way.
But if we were going to judge that one, it wouldn't have been good.
No.
That's all right, though. I mean, you do like these periods, though, because you see, some of it's depth. I mean, 97 was that Tristan Hill. These guys, these defensive linemen getting plenty of reps without Guy and Godchaw in the mix.
Auto run for Taekwon,
Yeah.
that receiver. Osborne, Juju right now.
Yeah.
There it is. That's
Yeah.
outside zone.
Zone left.
Get ready to see that. I
Yep.
think Antonio Gibson's fit in that scheme is really intriguing to me.
Yep.
He's the only guy that in that room, nothing against Ramondre, though, that has the speed, I think, to get to the corner.
Yeah.
Which, if you can't really respect the defense to respect that bounce to the outside in that scheme, that's what opens up the cutbacks, is that we can get outside of you, so you have to flow fast to the outside. If there's no threat there for the outside, then it's going to be awfully clogged up in the middle. And I think he's probably the best guy at it that they have on the team.
Yeah.
Still Brissett. Extended reps.
We've seen
We
this.
got a third down
Yeah.
here, according to the sticks. 3rd and 10. It's a
Oh, that would have
Sack.
been a sack.
Yeah, that would have been a sack.
91 sack.
Sidearms it and incomplete. That play was over anyway.
But that's the hang up for this offense right now. They had KJ Osborne here on the right-hand side, one-on-one coverage on the backside. If they don't have somebody that can win on that route consistently on 3rd down, it's going to be awfully tough, because then you're looking at AVP saying, you have to scheme everything open for us on 3rd down. You're going to have to create somebody with separation schematically with the X's and O's. In Cleveland, he had Amari Cooper there in that spot. And there's always some place that they could say, hey, we got one-on-one here. I thought Osborne had a nice release there, but he just couldn't create separation at the top of the route.
All right, some red zone work. So instead of doing a few plays for each quarterback, it looks like they're simulating a series.
Yeah.
And Brissett's still in there.
Yeah, now he's going at it from about those, 12? Yeah.
Gun run.
So is that Hasty?
Yeah.
Another one of those guys that just has a chance. They only got 2 running backs that seem secured on the depth chart. Jermichael Hasty, the 2 undrafted rookies. I mean, Fenwick and Jennings.
Yeah,
Going to get some carries.
I still think that they're running back short,
Yeah.
especially for how much they're going to want to run the ball in this offense. I wonder if the true third running back isn't on the team yet, and it's one of those veteran Zeke Elliott type of signings at some point.
Yeah. Of course, just a little fun here is Michael Onwenu at right guard and Caden Wallace at right tackle.
So this is really, to me, this is their best 5.
Yeah.
You have Caden Wallace playing his natural position at right tackle, Big Mike at right guard, his natural spot, Andrews, City, Chooks, Okorafor. Everybody's where they belong besides maybe Chooks, but if you can build on this offensive line together and then you draft the top tackle in the draft next year at left tackle,
Prosper.
then all of a sudden you have a full unit.
Yeah.
I just feel like this is where everybody fits the most naturally, and then you figure out left tackle next offseason, unfortunately. But maybe, Chooks can hold up at least a little bit.
All right. What do we got here? 3rd down. 3rd down.
Taekwon out wide.
Taekwon pop in the slot. Osborne to the left. Hunter Henry.
That's where I'm looking Pop Douglas all day right here. There it is.
Boom. Yeah.
He had the help inside of him.
Nice grab.
Yeah.
Who was that? 3?
Yeah, that was Pop, but he had, as Evan said,
Yeah.
he had him right off the break. I mean,
Yeah. Took a little long to get rid of that.
he had the window.
Really nice catch by Douglas.
Yeah, that's just
Farmore doing a lot of pre-snap movement on the line.
Judon was very vocal, telling him where to move around and stuff too.
Yeah. Okay, so now they're switching it up. Who's up?
It's like
Which quarterback's up?
I think
Drake May is
Spin the wheel.
Drake May's hustling. Got the helmet strapped up.
Yeah.
All right, now the fun really begins.
People are wondering where Paul Perillo is. He left to cover the WNBA, so that no. He originally minicamp wasn't scheduled for today, so back in a while ago he signed up for a charitable golf tournament today, so he's doing that. So he'd rather be here.
Of course he would.
Yeah.
We just spent 20 minutes talking about special teams, so I'm not sure about that.
Also, I really like the music playing during this.
We can't mention it.
Yeah.
Come on. No, we don't want any lawsuits.
But if there was,
If there was music.
All right, Drake May is
yeah.
behind center.
Yeah, so Polk, Juju, and Kayshawn Booty at receiver, and number 87,
That's not Matt Sokol.
Mitchell Wilcox.
That's a touchdown.
Crosser there, Mitchell Wilcox.
Little underneath pass
Check
over the
down,
middle.
Yeah. They're going gun on this one, though. They haven't put him under center like they did with Jacoby to start the drive. So this one looks a little bit more like hurry up. Right now,
He's on the center.
Of course.
Play action.
Ooh.
Yeah,
63 got eaten up on that one.
Check down. Yeah. Pop back up. And interesting, Tonu Mafi, that's another one of these like random roster developments. Playing a lot of center.
Yeah.
It's a little surprising. I mean, Jake Andrews, not sure where he's been.
I don't really look at him as a center,
Jake Andrews.
but
Or Mafi.
yeah, just center. You want somebody that is a little bit athletic
Yeah.
because he
No,
kind of
he's
sets the pace for the
yeah.
entire line in the run game.
heavy-legged.
Yeah.
Booty in the slot. Whew. That's you can't the Red Seas can't part for Drake. He's gonna go.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun part of his game. I think that it gets a little bit glossed over because of all the other conversations with him, but he's mobile. 2 years ago at UNC especially, he ran for double-digit touchdowns in that offense, but he's a mobile guy, and if you give him green grass, third down and 6, third down and 7, he's going to be able to pick those up easily and actually make some plays with his legs as a runner. So I don't know how much they're going to want to do it by design. I don't know if they're going to want to put that on him early on, just in terms of the wear and tear, but he can definitely move.
Learn how to slide. All right, so we moved up here. Looks like we're about the
Fringe red zone.
18 or so.
Yeah.
Still May.
High red zone.
High red zone.
87.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
See now. Okay.
Yeah.
So we talked about it earlier about old habits, and that's where I see his arm got a little bit loose.
Yeah.
You saw a little bit of that loop
Yeah.
on the delivery that you don't need,
Yeah.
and he
Missed
he
Wilcox.
floated it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was he's got to. He doesn't need. He needs to be tighter with that release and get rid of that loop.
Yeah.
Rather him miss like that. Miss long if you're going to miss.
Yeah. If you're long, you're not wrong.
So yeah, second down, but this is a lot of try hard guys.
Like make it hard on him, right?
Yeah. This is bottom of the roster weaponry here. Hasty check down.
Nice little flick out to the sideline.
Yeah. I mean, this has been fine. I'd like to just see one like laser throw on time with each.
Dropped in the bucket.
Yeah, that would
Not a ton of open targets out the field. He missed
No.
Wilcox. Wilcox also I think could have gotten out of that route a little bit cleaner, but that's me defending the quarterback like always. See, a lot of gun though for May.
Yeah.
Only one snap under center so far.
Juju on the outside. Booty on the backside. Bad snap.
Pressure.
Oh, nice catch.
Did he come down with it?
Wait,
I think he did.
did he catch it?
Tie goes to the
It's-
offense. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
great 50-50 ball. That who caught
Who
it?
was
So
that?
was that
That's
16?
Pedway.
The Michael Petway.
Yeah.
So yeah, Drake may just put it up in the end zone. Petway was able to go up and grab it away from the defender. A contested catch touchdown.
It's also probably would have been a sack in the game. We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's not his fault.
That snap, too, is like something to watch. I'm surprised, the kid Charles Turner, undrafted rookie, he was center LSU. Surprised he can't get
me
some
too.
snaps maybe.
Me too. I thought he had a chance as a UDFA. Pretty high regarded, big conference player, SEC guy. Made a lot of starts.
Coaches spoke really high of him. So that looks like that's going to conclude the 11 on 11 portion. As the offensive line retreats back to their corner.
So that portion, period 6, you only saw May and Brissett getting reps.
Looks like we're going to do 7s now. This is what they've been doing. They do 11 on 11 period, and then we break into 7s and let the defensive lineman go someplace else for a little bit. But I think for May, just in general, just you miss a few throws, there. I thought we talked about the one to Wilcox, but his eyes are in the right places, which is intriguing. That's what I'm looking for this time of year right now, is he's seeing it cleanly, and I thought he did throughout that period. You make that throw, it looks a little bit differently.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as watching practice, which we've done plenty of by this point, he continues to intrigue me. I mean, he looks pretty comfortable. Again, I'd love to see a couple whoa, that was a throw. Waiting on that, probably.
He made one
selfishly,
to Taekwon, one of the first practices. That was a pretty one. But I think if his eyes are in the right place and he's on time on the throws, the accuracy and all that kind of stuff that we nitpick him on, that stuff will come with repetitions and with practice and with NFL coaching. It's the mental stuff that you worry about with young quarterbacks. Are their eyes in the right places? Is their drops sync to the route? Those types of things. If he's not doing that consistently, that's when it can really snowball on him and turnovers happen and things like that. He's going to miss some throws.
855-PASS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Let's go to Nathan in Tampa. Nathan, you still there?
Yes, sir.
Well, thanks for holding on.
Yes, sir. I just got a quick question, kind of about Caden Wallace's future. So, say hypothetically, the left side goes pretty bad this year, and so with the 2025 first-round pick, they want to go with the best tackle available. Where does that put Caden Wallace if they had him on the left side this year, and then now where does he go from there?
Well, I would just say, I mean, the last couple of practices, he's been working at right tackle.
A little bit more. Yeah.
Maybe it's not a problem. I mean, maybe they do need a left tackle still, and Caden Wallace is your right tackle of the future, and Onwenu's going to, go back to right guard, which I think a lot of us still think that he's ideal fit there. But it's a good question, something we'll be monitoring every practice where he's lining up. But I think Evan, the first 2 practices we saw him get some reps at left tackle, lower level, and we haven't really seen that. Now he's been on the right side most recently on those, first team reps down the red zone where he got some run with the first team. So
yeah, I just feel like, again, and we talked about this when they went with that line that had Onwenu at guard and Caden Wallace at right tackle. When you talk about building for the future and not just focusing on the 2024 season, Caden Wallace playing right tackle and maybe finding himself a starting role there, and then you draft a left tackle, it just makes a lot more sense than trying to shoehorn him into being a left tackle when he's really not a left tackle. I would just much rather see them go the developmental route for the future, to the caller's point of this is your position, and then we'll worry about left tackle when we draft Kelvin Banks. See, May was a little bit late to that one, and that's what I don't want to see, right? Throw it on time, throw it when it's meant to be thrown, and if it's a little bit off with the accuracy, they can fix that. They can fine-tune that, but you don't want them to be late to things.
Yeah. Sean in Vancouver writes in, Drake May should start when the team is ready for him to start. He needs to be ready to play, but there can't be a turnstile at left tackle that makes it impossible for him to perform and possibly get hurt. I'm not confident that Wallace can make the switch from right to, and Okorafor lost his job last season in Pittsburgh at right tackle.
Yeah.
There are no real NFL left tackles on the Patriots' current roster. Yes, May needs to be challenged, and he needs the experience, but without an ounce of protection, it would be a waste of time.
All right, I'll see you in 2029 when we decide that it's ready for him to play. I just how long are we going to wait? We're going to just keep kicking the can down the road because the rest of the thing isn't ready? I just, what other quarterback has had that benefit? Did they say in Miami, like, Tua, sorry, we don't have an offensive line, so we're just not going to play you for 2 years? Like, you just can't go about it that way.
No, but you can't wait till the offense is perfect and every piece is in place. And
by the way,
ready.
Jacoby Brissett, you're fine to be out there and get killed.
And I totally get what everybody's point is with that. And I'm not telling you that he has to start right away and be thrown into the fire either. But at some point, he's going to have to play.
Yeah. Well, on time, just not on. That guy wasn't open.
Yeah. But you see, he's attacking the one-on-one, so there's really with the corner playing trail, there's no real threat to that being a turnover. So you just throw the ball up and you give your guy a chance. And those are the types of plays, unfortunately, for this team you might see a lot of with guys, got decent coverage on them.
Yeah, and that was downfield, and certainly the ball had the distance. It wasn't short. The only person who could have made the catch was the offense.
Yeah. It's good coverage. Zappy time.
Most interesting Patriots fan in the world, James Pettigrew writes in, I've been hearing a lot about left foot forward, rhythm, and hitches. Do you think Mac would have fit as a quarterback with this new system and coaches, or did he lack the raw talent? How much better could he have looked in the AVP system?
Oh, go Evan, that's you.
I don't really think it's a system for him. And that's not to say that there isn't a system that exists that Mac Jones thrives in, but this offense is a lot less mentally on the quarterback, and it's a lot more downfield throws, especially off of moving pockets. You're asking Mac Jones to hit a deep over 40 yards down the field from a bootleg. I don't think that's really the offense for him. There are some West Coast elements that maybe would have fit him in like the third down hurry up. That's more timing based. That would have worked, but their early down offense is so heavily involved with the deep throws down the field. I just don't know if that necessarily would have been a great fit for him.
Bailey Zappi in there now.
Did you get a load of Damian Harris, Fred?
No. Oh, what he said?
Yeah.
Yikes. Not holding back.
No, I had to talk with Paul. I mean, probably best save for when Paul was here, but I mean, I think everybody was aware that Damian Harris and Mac Jones were best friends too. So.
Yeah, that was my initial reaction to it as well. Is Damian Harris is very clearly a Mac Jones guy, so I have to put that grain of salt in there. But we were talking about it on the way up here, dude. So nothing you said was wrong. He was pretty spot on about what he said about the offense in 2022 and.
It was funny, though. I went back. I just, for the last couple of years, I just kept notes after every training camp practice, just generally what happened, impression. And, it was bad. It was bad. And I remember somebody wrote into PU recently saying how depressed I was in Vegas. And I didn't really remember being depressed in Vegas. But that first day, I looked at my notes, and it was terrible all day until that last 2-minute drive that they had where they did actually score.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they did nothing. So I think that's, you look back and it's like it was just staring you right in the face the whole time. And as much as I just didn't want to believe it, you didn't want to believe it. But
it was putrid. It was a really bad summer for that offense. And there was never buy-in. There was never confidence in what they were trying to do. It always felt forced. And the players at the podiums were trying to sell themselves that this is going to work, just because they have to do it. This is what the situation is. And it just never felt right.
Yeah. Do you think other NFL teams complete as many passes in practice to their running backs as the Patriots do over the last 3 years? Because I just feel like 70% of all practices are thrown check down to the running back.
Sometimes I wonder if this is something that we might not have full context on.
Going through progressions and then just throwing it to the last guy. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I try to tell myself too, but I'm like.
Some of it might be that we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and we're
just dump
it off. But the most important thing is just to get the feel of going through the progression.
Yeah. Right.
Moving to period 8.
Rallying here.
Still no reps for Joe Milton. We were talking earlier in the show about how Zappi is the lock to be the odd man out. I'm not 100% convinced about that just yet. I'm going to have to see something from Joe Milton in the preseason games to really be moved by him.
Did he take any last week? I mean, a couple, maybe 7-on-7.
Yeah, and he missed that one practice for whatever reason. They're doing a leverage drill right now, open field tackling drill, without it being able to tackle.
Yeah, no contact.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just not convinced yet that if you had to throw somebody into an NFL game, I'm throwing Zappy in before I'm throwing Joe Milton in right now based off of what we've seen in these practices. So I'm just not 100% convinced yet that that's yes, they drafted him, but it was a late 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do anything in the preseason games, he's a practice squad candidate. Is someone really going to put in a claim on Joe Milton unless he lights it up in the preseason? I just don't see that happening.
He's got a big arm.
It's a tough drill for the defense.
Oh, it is.
On this one. It's basically you're trying to do a flag football move here.
Good luck. Oh,
Yeah.
KJ.
You're just working on the leverage of funneling to your help if you're the defensive player. So whether it's the sideline, you're trying to use the sideline as an extra defender, or you have team meeting coming back the other way, you're just trying to angle the guy the right way that you want him to go. They used to do this drill with Bill all the time.
Yeah, we need this drill in flag football. So 11-year-olds don't really grasp the concept of leverage.
Paul wants to know, what are the odds the Patriots sign a veteran left tackle?
Not good, Bob.
Not very high. I think their veteran left tackle is Chukwuekorfor. I know that everybody wants it to be a better player or more natural left tackle, but they have signed a veteran left tackle in their mind, and that's who it is.
Yeah, that's the great experiment, because it doesn't really seem like anybody else is really close at this point.
Yeah.
Because you've seen like Calvin Anderson back over there getting some reps.
He's an interesting one.
Tyrone Wheatley.
I don't know, when you go through what he went through with his health and all that, that's really difficult to then make yourself back into an NFL player after that. But he's got the athleticism for this offense, and you do wonder if he can get himself mentally and physically together, if he could make a push.
I mean, we had the call that said they don't have an NFL left tackle. Calvin Anderson's probably played the most left tackle snaps of anybody on the roster. I mean, he has, I don't know, I want to say he's got at least a dozen games.
Yeah, he started, I think, 7
Yeah.
in his last year in Denver, and it was the back end of the schedule, and he played down the stretch for them. And I think he missed a few games at the end, so it might have been more like a middle type thing. But he definitely does in terms of natural left tackle snaps for sure. All right.
We got us another 7-on-7.
Looks like
period
a
here.
red zone sevens.
Red zone sevens.
Giving Taekwon as many
Yeah.
chances as it can.
2, 3, and 11.
Brissett at quarterback. Oh, boy.
Wrong page.
Yeah, wrong page with Taekwon.
That was a throw to no one.
He
Then we
broke
got the
it.
old palm
He broke
saw.
in. Jacoby thought he should have broken out. I'm going to go with Jacoby on this one.
Well, and I mean, look, I'm not going to kill the guy for 2 plays, but these are the plays we talked about with him with some momentum. He's got a drop. He's got a miscommunication.
Yeah,
all these little things kind of add up.
This is what he's been.
Yeah.
This is who he is. You see his speed, it plays, but it just isn't consistent.
Oh, almost a nice catch.
Going up the seam, could not quite connect with Austin Hooper.
Coverage by Gonzo.
Yeah. All over him.
How's Hunter Henry looked?
Pretty good. Yeah, he had a couple catches in sevens.
Yeah.
It's just been Mr. Hunter Henry. Mr. Reliable, always in the right spots and always confident. He did pretty well in one of the few guys I thought last week that stood out in the red zone drills offensively. Just consistent.
Yep. Yeah, great re-signing. I mean, it's just no brainer to bring him back, considering the other options out there. We'll see Hooper. If Hooper's going to bring, a few years now, I'm looking for that second tight end to kind of offer some complimentary play. Just didn't get it out of Jonnu or Gesicki.
I got to say, guys, this little drill isn't instilling a lot of confidence in the offense.
No, 7-on-7 is a lot of balls hitting the ground.
We've got 3 straight incompletions now, and 2 to Austin Hooper. He's been getting some one-on-one coverage, and they've been tilting it a little bit towards Hunter Henry here in the red zone, and I've been trying to get it to Hooper, and it has not gone well. This is why I know I keep harping this, but they're not going to be an offense, I don't think, in these type spaces that are going to create a lot of immediate separation. So to just have a quarterback back there that can extend the play and can be a threat with his legs a little bit, I just feel like would be such a benefit to them.
Nice route there by Jalen Polk.
Yeah, and that ball was right on target.
Right on
that was
target.
a really nice pass
Good
by
connection.
Brissett.
That's what you want to see from Jalen Polk. Those
Yep.
are the routes that I feel like he's going to be really good on. Are those quick speed outs.
Quick out.
Yeah.
And the first good play there.
Looks like Javon Baker's watching this guy's helmet, but
it's too bad.
Another nice pass to the opposite side by
nice throw, catch
he's got
by
those
Taekwon.
two. He's got those quick outs.
Yeah, quick out to Taekwon there, and good catch by him. Got his feet in. He looked quick there. 11.
And we're back in.
We're back in. No, but I mean, he does have that talent that, there's just not a ton of guys out here with elite speed or elite explosion, and he's definitely one of them in the right moments.
It always stands out this time of year with him. The 4.28 and the speed.
Yeah.
It is all that package is there, and in this offense, there's a role for that. But if he's not more consistent with it, then it's
Deuce, a lot of people complimenting your glasses.
Oh, really? He's like,
yeah, Andrew in L.A. says you're looking like Mr. Big Shot Hollywood producer in that high back chair with your cool shades on. Does your chair have your name on the back of it?
Deuce, yes.
See, they're complimenting his glasses.
I know. These are the cheap-ass glasses,
But to me, it's the polo.
Oh, really? I know. It's
polo?
The
fancy.
polo. It's nice.
North Carolina colors, too.
Oh,
it is,
shoot.
it
I didn't even
is.
think of
Show
that.
that to Drake.
Never again. Paul, I would have matched Paul last week with his.
Yeah, what was up with that? Is this kid going there or something? Like,
And it's a whole story.
Is it
He
the-
just loves Drake May so much.
I was going to say, I thought I was the one that was.
Well, last year it was LSU, right?
Yeah,
Right.
he does have an LSU polo.
He does.
He was, but it was head to toe in you.
From his illustrious travels. Yeah. Drake May.
Well, Paul has
That's
sports
nice,
clothing like Garanimals, like
He does.
Wherever he picks it up, right?
Yeah.
To be fair, though, he did go on a lot of school trips
Yeah.
with his son.
Yeah.
So
Was that Rager that he got that
Yes,
one
it
too?
was.
Rager. Nice throw there. Throw by the Drake. He's got some zip, man. He steps into it. That's what's just so nice. Like, I think with Mac the last couple of years, like every kind of throw he made in the back of your head, you're like, was that a hard throw? Is he got a good arm? Like, you're always kind of questioning it, and like, it's nice to not have to think about that.
Even the one he threw earlier in the back of the end zone.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
that's
see, I
a
mean-
throw right there.
We could just
Right up the seam.
just wrap it up. I
80.
just
Well, he made that one look easy.
Yeah.
wasting everybody's time.
10 to 88 for a tutty. That was the rookie, Jaheim Bell.
There was a lot of traffic there. If
Yeah.
that was too low,
I've seen him make that throw at North Carolina 100 times.
Yeah.
That's his up the seams, anything between the numbers where he can just rip it.
yeah.
That's his bread and butter right there. Yeah, it's so natural for him to read the middle of the field. Out of all the quarterbacks that I've watched over the last 4 or 5 years, his ability to read the middle of the field and make throws, like layered throws like that one with little anticipation,
Mm-hmm.
he's one of the best I've ever seen at it in college.
And
coming
would you
through the
agree that
throws.
Mac had trouble with those up the
in
middle?
terms of
Oh,
arm
yeah.
talent, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Seam throws are tough for Mac.
Yep.
All right. Mac.
Nice route.
Nice
Is that
route.
Tayshaun?
Catch. Tayshaun Booty.
All right, looking better now.
It's a
I wonder why.
Nice period for Mac Jones. Oh,
do
sorry,
we
what's his
think he
name?
has a chance
Drake
to make
May.
the roster?
Drake May.
The Booty? The Booty?
Yeah, he's on my bubble. I think
Booty bubble?
I think Booty, yeah, good. Booty, Taekwon, and Jalen Rager, and I guess you could throw Juju in there too, are kind of all in this
Yeah.
one big
All
bubble
going
Really?
at wide
Do
receiver.
you have them like? I couldn't have them all like in the same line though. I feel like there's a tier even in the bubble.
Probably a little bit, and I
Wow.
think KJ Osborne is like on the top of the bubble,
Okay.
maybe. You know,
Daisy. Ooh.
Zappy
That was
Zappy to,
pretty.
Zappy to
Yeah.
Booty.
looked right, then came back to the middle and zipped it in to the end zone. Nice pass by Zapp.
No, I mean, it's a really interesting point, Tamara, about just that whole wide receiver group. Like, how does it all play out? And does one guy get hurt, or
to Evan's point, how long does it take Bourne to get back? Like, what are they thinking with him? And even guys like Booty, I mean, he's still got practice squad eligibility, but to me, the big questions are 11 and 7. Two guys that
It's wild that
you've invested in draft pick money.
Juju is the highest paid receiver on this team.
And he's the biggest question mark.
He's the biggest. If money was not an object, he doesn't make the roster. The only way he's on this team is because they don't want to eat the dead cap and cut
If
him.
money was not an object, he'd be already gone with Devontae Parker.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, to be, totally honest, like, I know we said he was much more healthy. Like, I don't really see him moving much different than he did before. He is
Well, let me ask
kind
you
of a purposeful
yeah.
strider. Like,
Okay.
he's not a pop legs,
He's not Pittsburgh Juju anymore. That's gone.
Oh, that's definitely gone.
That's gone.
Pittsburgh Juju. Oh, nice
see,
catch by Polk.
That's what Polk's going
Yeah.
to do, right? I mean, the hands are on display there. You just throw it to him, and he might look covered, but he's got excellent hands, and that's exactly what that was. That was Washington.
And that was a good throw by Zappi.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some of this 7 stuff's a little late, but yeah.
Ball needed to be zipped in, and he did it.
Couple of catches here for Polk, probably his most
Yeah.
noticeable practice, but
Yep.
that catch right there at the back of the end zone, that's vintage Jalen Polk right there.
Yeah, good size.
Head coach Gerard Mayo bringing the team in.
We're only an hour and 20 in. We already done?
What are we doing?
I don't know. Well, sometimes they bring it in, then they go out and do a few more things. Let's see what's going on here. Quick talk, whatever it was. Doesn't look anyone's in a hurry to leave, so they're probably going to do another period 10.
Some words of wisdom from the head coach here as we maybe trying to ramp up the intensity a little bit here. It seems like it's going to be some 11s work again here.
So now the refs are here. Okay, they haven't been calling anything yet, right?
I saw one flag over here.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Offside, I think it was, but this seems like we're
Yeah.
as live as we can be this time of year is what maybe that huddle was about.
Let's pick it up.
Yeah, let's do it.
No music.
All right.
Deuce.
Where's my music? Come on. Oh, there it is. No, just kidding.
Let's see who comes out here
Wait,
for
there
the
it is.
offense.
You're right.
All right. So a little flavor for the D. Yeah, no Godchild there, but does seem a little bit more. Yeah, what do we got down? We got it down.
Brissett in there, 11 on 11.
11. Seven gets excited to see Marty Mapu play some linebacker snaps here. All right, so we're going like hurry up here. This seems probably like end of game situation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Defense really trying to rush the passer. You got multiple 3 safeties out there with Mapu.
Okay, we're trying to. I wasn't sure if they were letting them catch it just yet.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys were running this practice, in this period in particular, would you run your sideline the way you do in a game? In other words, get guys used to being off the field,
I mean, if
the
you're
way
able,
they would in a game?
Well, if you're able to switch personnel, I mean, I don't know if this drill, if they're able to rotate guys in and out or not. But yeah, I mean, I think anytime you're trying to do this stuff, I mean, in my
Especially
part, I'd be trying to do a game situation, and
yeah.
I mean, that's what it's always should be geared towards. But
There's no way you would have this much time to throw.
Oh,
Pressure drop, ugly
yeah,
rep there.
ugly rep.
off the shoulder pads. Who was that, Douglas?
Yeah, really late. I mean, hard to know. I mean, it's just.
I know we're early.
Yeah.
But at some point, you gotta give Drake some reps against the first team defense and see what he does with it. Because that last 7-on-7 period, he kind of lit it up a little bit.
He was against the first team at least once.
I just these periods, these full 11-on-11s. I'm not saying it has to be this extended period of time that he gets 20 reps against the first team defense, but I'd like to see a couple. Because this is just, I mean, this is not.
Oh, so close.
That ball was behind, tipped up in the air, and almost
Alex
picked
Austin.
off by, looks like Duggar.
Yeah, it was Christian Gonzalez had the initial coverage on KJ Osborne.
Yeah, that ball was late.
Nothing doing on offense.
All right, let's. Evan Lazar calling for Drake May,
Oh, I've been calling for Drake May since April.
falling on deaf ears.
Put him in.
I just want to see what it looks like.
No.
That's it. It's not to say that he's going to start week 1 because we gave him 10 reps in practice with the ones, but
Yeah, Drake was standing over next to AVP.
Well, he certainly has more tread on the tire than Brissett, and Bridgestone is the official tire of the New England Patriots and proud partner with Sullivan Tire, New England's headquarters for quality Bridgestone tires. Visit sullivantire.com to find a location near you. Got to get those tires ready for the summer.
I got to get new
The
tires.
hot asphalt, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
what's that?
I need new tires. That's a
Set
sack by
yeah.
Ocho.
Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, whoa.
Okay.
Okay.
Are they going to give it to him? So catch by Douglas, but that would have been a sack by
There's definitely
Bent.
this is what we've seen in 11 on 11s. The pressure.
Yeah.
There's just been some run throughs again here today that counted.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 or 4 with Jacoby Brissett so far that in a game that's at least a pressure, a quarterback hit, if not a sack. And Bentley just came through. It's kind of hard to tell when it happens this fast, how he came through, but he looked untouched if you ask me.
Well, you can't really touch him, so.
tagging him off. All right, so we got 10 is in now, and we got some backups on defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see it. Juju, Polk, Antonio Gibson's with him.
Yeah.
So at least some guys that he can.
But we're more concerned about who he's going up against.
Yeah, and Rager. I mean, these are guys that are probably going to be around here though. So at least he's got some guys to throw to this time. Sometimes they throw him out there with like K1 Baker, and I'm like, give do the guy some favors. Pressure again.
Yeah.
That was 93. That's your guy.
Yeah, there you go. 93 around Wallace. Marcellus Wallace. Yeah, see Marcus Covington calling the plays. Did you guys say you saw Steve Belichick here again?
No.
No, I misspoke.
Yeah.
It was Brian.
Jules out there.
Jules does not strike me as the guy that wants to coach.
No.
He's enjoying life way too much.
Podcasting is too fun. It's a lot easier.
And acting too.
Yeah.
Drake May.
Ooh.
Okay.
Caught it, but man, that was closing in around him quick.
Mhm.
But that was a good release for that situation.
But I
You
will
know?
say,
Nice
like,
poise. Nice poise.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say, like, and not trying to compare him to Mac, but Mac in that situation, he panicked.
Yeah.
Drake. I just chucked
Threw it away.
Yeah, that's broken play.
The pressure has not been good in this team period here.
So we got a couple of rookies here on the right side of the line with Layden Robinson and Caden Wallace.
In their defense, and Fred, you mentioned this a few times, you're not actually blocking guys right now.
No.
This is like setting a pick in basketball. Basically, you're just kind of getting in the way as best as you can. It's tough. I mean, they're at a disadvantage in that respect.
Sure. Speed kills here.
Yeah.
Good blitz pickup by Gibson.
There you go. That looked like a play.
83, couple crosses today.
Rager's caught some balls today. He's had a good day. I think him and Douglas probably been the most involved.
Yeah, a couple nice catches for Jalen Polk.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I would agree. Rager. Booty had a few in that last red zone period. So, some guys that you wanted to hear about that have made a couple plays.
All right, Drake May back up. You got Rager and Polk on the outside, Juju in the slot. Gibson in the backfield. Wilcox tight end left.
Yeah. Downfield.
There's just no place to throw that.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a push off on the offense to boot, but yeah, that had no shot.
Yeah, it seemed like, I don't know, it just seemed like he kind of threw that one. It didn't really.
He was trying to throw a
Yeah,
back shoulder. I
yeah.
mean, those are low percentage, but for both sides, like that's not going to be a turnover.
Not close.
So just give a guy a chance to make a play on it.
Mikey Victor holding up there at left corner. Haven't called his name yet today.
Juju wearing football pants.
Yeah.
He practices in football pants. I've noticed that with him.
Good support, right?
Yeah.
Drake May still going. Petway.
They got that underneath stuff going.
Yeah. The theme of the last few camps.
They're working on protections up front. You can tell with the extra guy coming on block, and the running back is assigned to him. I wish we could see Antonio Gibson out of the backfield, but right now he's been in blitz pickup a lot. There you go.
There you go. There you go. Asking you will receive.
Fast to the flat.
Short gain. Nah, he's good. You're right, though. It's probably a good mailbag question. There's some running backs out there, like last year with Zeke, that it's got to be a handful of veteran guys that can play that are just kind of waiting.
Seems like that happens every year now. So
what kind of back would you like?
probably an early down guy,
Yeah.
like a truer, Zeke Elliott type to back up Ramondre. Gibson's going to play a lot, but he's that Rex Burkhead role, some package.
Perfect.
Is that Ramondre back there with him right now?
That is 39, I think, actually.
Pressure again.
Into a party.
Yeah.
It's a lot of whistles. Like the ref calling timeout or something.
Oh, that's 39. Okay.
Yeah.
Pressure.
I mean,
pressure.
that's, Hasty. Him and Kevin Harris, they've been involved a little bit.
Looks like we might get some zappy reps now. Warming up the old arm. Yeah, that was a...
You say that like he's like 27 years old, 28 years
I'm
old.
just warming up my arm. Remember that commercial with Cam Newton? No, was it Cam Newton? Yeah. Was it? I'm just warming up my arm.
Yeah, what are we supposed to go till 2? Is that what it's? Not. Yeah, I would say. Now this is kind of how it's looked for the offense. The clunkiness. There's just not a lot of sweet, sharp downfield execution.
And there's no. You watch these highlights from the other teams, and they have that star wide receiver who, at least once a practice makes that big catch. And we're not seeing that.
But I feel like a lot of those other teams are not installing a new offense, and all these rookies on offense.
Yeah, and that's the great
Fair enough.
debate of all these things. And it happens every year when you get
and Zappy picked
20.
Duggar just stepped in front of that pass and took it for 6.
That was an extremely smooth-looking play by Kyle Duggar.
Yeah.
He just that was like he was riding a bike. He baited him into that the whole way.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's like Gonzalez there. But back to the point, that's every year when we get into training camp, and, look, most of the time the defense is going to be ahead of the offense, and, you can't really run, so you're watching run periods, but the defense is kind of owning it. It's so, and like you said, it's a new offense, there's new pieces, and I always err on that side of it's harder to get an offense off the ground than it is for just a defense, especially one with a bunch of new guys returning to hop in there and make life miserable, especially when you have aggressive play callers like the Patriots defensive coaches have been.
Yep.
Joe Milton alert.
But at a certain point, you got to see some plays. You got to see some execution downfield. You got to see some moments of guys shaking loose and the quarterback hitting them in stride. And those moments have been few.
It's been tough where the actual scheme stuff, like hitting it on time. And I just feel like with this offense right now, I think Fred's point's the best one, is if you don't have those receivers that in structure are just going to get open on their own and create those plays, then the quarterback is the one that has to end up being the athlete or the elevator, I guess is the better way of putting it, of it all. And I just don't see that with Brissett. It's not that he's terrible or anything like that. It's just vanilla. You know? It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And if guys aren't getting open and it's not hitting on time, there's no imagination to it. There's no extra added bonuses to it, and I think that's gonna be tough.
Well, 2 good throws from Joe Milton, and that one was a little
Joe
high.
Milton just almost
but-
killed somebody on the sideline.
Yeah, but
Is there a chance that they pick up one of these star wide receivers who is in a contract?
I don't know, man. It takes more than money at this point. You know, you got to give up an asset probably, I would think. And
yeah,
you know, I don't know if they'd be willing to give up like a next year, you know, top draft pick. But
I mean,
I wouldn't rule it out. But you know, here's the thing. I don't think it's ever too soon for the quarterback. But I could see where if you've got a young quarterback, it might be too soon for a veteran wide receiver who, let's say you sign him to a 2-year deal and it takes 3 years for your offense to go, and now you've got to pay him again. You know, it's like,
that's true.
It's because of the money that it might be too soon for that high-end veteran wide receiver.
I definitely.
But then you
think
have a
that-
guy like, for example, JJ is going to look so good because he has such a great wide receiver alongside of him. So it's like,
But they've already got him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it depends. That was a really
Nice
nice
throw.
throw by Joe
Yep.
Milton there, deep out to, what is that, 82?
yeah,
Yeah,
Baker.
that's the arm talent that you see from him. You know, you're throwing from the middle of the field. He gets it all the way out on the deep out. That's not a throw you were seeing the quarterbacks here make last summer. Let me put it that way. That's an NFL throw.
I do just wonder, though, if one of those guys that's sitting out waiting for this contract isn't going to get it.
I know. Well, you know, and that, you know, as I think about it, like if they made a run at, let's say, Brandon Ayuk
Mm-hmm.
and they got him, to me, that tells me they're ready to go with Drake May.
Okay.
Like, why bring in Ayuk if you're going to just have Jacoby Brissett out there?
Yeah.
You know?
I've
Like,
got my eyes on the Bengals simply because, like, they're going to get that deal done with Jamar Chase. Like, I have no doubt in my mind about that. But T. Higgins, are you going to be able to do both? And these guys aren't holding in. They're holding out. They're not coming.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think that there's an element of it where there's tiers to the receivers that you would be acquiring.
mhm.
And I want to see the young guys play a little bit on offense. Polk, Baker, you know, what do you have in those guys? If you are going to be able to go out and get a Brandon Ayuk, that's a different story. But I think that there are tiers to it that I would maybe say, let's wait a year and let's see what we have with the young guys. And maybe it's a Houston Texans situation where Nico Collins comes out of nowhere and Tank Dell's a day 2 pick, and then you add Stephon Diggs to it now instead of doing it before, because you lose reps for those guys. You start burying guys, and then you never actually get to see what it is. Ayuk to me is tier 1 receiver in the entire league, so I would go and get him in a heartbeat. But a guy like T. Higgins, like, I'm not crazy about it yet. I don't necessarily view him on that same level as some of those other guys.
And Chad Ryland
Made it.
Doing some field goal kicking now, which usually indicates at least the practice is coming close to the end.
He's going leg for leg with Sly,
Go Hokies.
Joey Sly. He's a Hokie.
Yeah, yes.
There
We
you
went to
go.
school together.
Oh.
He has no idea who I am. But I know who he is.
You can't be serious. He doesn't know who Tamara Brown
He
is.
does not know who I am. But he was our kicker the entire time I was at school.
T. Brown.
Right through the upright.
The real TB.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as much as things are, different around here, I mean, generally feels like the practice structure is not that crazy. It's individual periods. We come together for a team. I mean, it
I feel
has
like it's
similar
more loose.
vibes.
Still
I feel
football
like it's
practice.
looser, though.
Yeah.
It's not as, like, rigid.
Not for me. Oh,
Ooh.
that's
Got
wide.
under that.
That's wide right. Eesh. What is he? Like? So is it like 37 yarders? No, wait, 20. Yeah. 37, 38 yards.
37.
That first one from Ryland almost looked like it was out of steam. Sly.
I'm
good.
sure if that was that good.
It's
Mhm.
good.
We always look at does
I
the
see.
holder
Oh, there
give him
are
a high
refs.
five?
Yeah.
Well, the refs are,
Oh,
are
yeah.
also
Oh,
there.
that helps.
Yeah.
They actually tell you. Should
You
have
know,
those every
It's almost
every
like
time.
it's like a game where they'll tell you.
All right. Goes Ryland again. This is from about 42, right hash.
Should they extend the height of the goalposts?
No.
No.
With lasers. Oh, that one looks
Ooh.
okay to me.
That was
Yes.
looked in.
I think it
That's
just
good.
snuck in there. Yep.
They're not going to keep going?
Oh, here we go. Sly get his chance.
Dan Hurley going back to UConn.
Oh, yeah? Wow. Not
Yeah.
going to the Lakers.
Wow.
I wouldn't want to go. To
J.J.
the Lakers,
Redick going to 98.5.
The
It's
best,
going to be on the afternoon show.
the best thing about being at the game last night was that I didn't have to listen to Doris and JJ Redick.
You're not a Doris fan?
No, not at all.
Yikes. Hot take.
I watched it.
She's fine.
She's better when the Sixers aren't involved.
No, but she's also better when it's three people and it's not up to her to do all the analysis because she feels obligated after every play to say something, and you don't have to do that.
Sly is good.
Let it breathe a little
I
bit.
thought she was fine last night.
I miss Van Gundy and Mark Jackson.
I'm sorry, but until they make a game that tips off at a normal human being's time, I will not be watching.
Oh,
What?
it's too late.
It was 8:07.
Come on, it's a championship.
Come on, Tamara.
Take a nap early.
No.
Take a nap.
I was in the
Absolutely not.
How old are you?
I'm
You're
too
younger than
old.
I am.
I'm too old. Didn't one of the games tip at like 9?
No, it's 8
Ryland
8:30.
is
That's
no
too late.
good.
No,
from-
it was done by
40
10:30 last night.
Yeah, I was home by
I'm usually
10:45.
asleep by 9:30.
I'm just
Like-
saying, it's a championship. Take a nap.
Okay, game 4 I'll watch. How about that?
Okay.
That was a Ryland miss from the left hash, 48 yards.
That was wide.
The ball is
Wide
not
left.
really exploding off his leg.
No, they're both guys are
It
kinda
just
just
seems
like-
it's like gasping.
It's
to
like a
get over.
sandwich.
Yeah. Slide from 48. It's up. And
It's good.
It's good.
To the hills.
Ooh,
Ron.
what was that?
One more. Might got one more in
One
here.
more sesh.
Yep.
Yeah.
This might be a. We're gonna do 11s, then we're gonna kick, then we're gonna do
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
How about a 2-minute drill? That'd be nice. We got the refs. We got the sticks. We got everything we need here
Yeah,
for a
we didn't
little.
bring in the refs just for one series.
Right.
Let's go. Let's
Oh,
go.
everybody's coming in now. We have a team meeting.
Yeah.
Another one,
Let's pick it up.
guys.
While we're waiting here, Cameron writes in, would trading Judon and a 2025 third-round pick be enough for Higgins or Ayuk?
No,
No.
Mm-mm.
Judon and a third-round pick next year?
no. I don't think so.
Third?
Maybe
No.
in Higgins' case, just because he's a free agent at the end of the year, and they really need to make a decision on him, whether they're gonna pay him or move him, or risk losing him for nothing. So
I don't think Judon's a great defensive fit for them either. I mean, they're kind of traditional defensive end, not really.
yeah, I don't
Judon
think that
standing
that's.
up outside linebacker.
I look, make the call. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that that's a complete like slap in your face type offer, but I don't think it's enough.
Brissett back at quarterback?
We get something down the field going here.
Flushed out.
And you got your wish. Downfield. Oh, no flag.
Flag in the middle of the field.
Oh, there is a
Sounds-
flag, but
Not on the.
not on the
Yeah.
defender.
Barmore.
It looks like holding in the middle of the field was the indication from the center judge there.
I feel like these drills should be 7-on-7 because
Yeah.
they can't block the defensive front.
Right. So you're not even getting anywhere.
It's really not even accomplishing
I know,
anything.
and it's even with these are kind of like defensive front starter types, but the back end, other than Duggar, is mostly backups.
Yeah,
You know, Marco Wilson.
yeah, we have Peppers and Duggar out
You
there.
know, but
I wonder if these are all going to be deep shots. at
Hearn
this
in the
point.
slot. I mean, the corners are all backups right now.
That's a good pocket.
That's a good, yeah.
Okay.
Nice throw, nice catch. Thornton gets out of bounds. Yeah,
So
it
funny
seems
with
hurry up.
Thornton. Just an absolute roller coaster every single day.
Right.
Where you can watch the routes that are good, like that one, and say, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
this guy might be able to be something." And then there's other reps where you're just scratching your head. But you
It's
see those deep outs though into the
Yeah.
sideline. That's just not an area of the field that they could access easily before. It just makes it a whole
False start.
Somebody
lot
move.
easier.
Chooks. Somebody move. Flags
I don't know.
fly.
Jacoby Brissett's saying it's
He's fired
offside.
up.
Well, I saw
He's
Judon
fired
move,
up.
but I'm not sure.
Encroachment on
yeah.
the defense.
Did they get encroachment on? Refs are huddling.
Yeah, Jacoby was definitely fired up after that one.
Make the call. I'll make it. Oh, defense. Offside.
Ref's mic isn't working.
Offsides.
I would love to see Fred as a ref. He's so funny.
I tried to ref intramural basketball in college,
Ooh.
and I think they almost killed me.
I was not friendly to our intramural refs. I feel bad about that. It's not a good side of me.
Because guys would drink before they played. Oh,
Geez.
it was not good.
Intramural's tough crowd.
Yeah.
Get it down now. First down. All right. At the 40-yard line. Brissett back to pass.
No,
Ooh, good breakup by Azizi Hearn.
Back
it's gotta be
shoulder.
more on the outside.
Incomplete.
Incomplete.
Is that the Hunter?
Hunter
Yep.
Henry. I mean, Evan, to your point, I almost feel like they are kind of like, all right, we'll just put the backup corners in, see if you guys can do anything on them.
It's been tough out here in
Yeah.
terms of separation. Even the completions that they've made have been underneath
Right.
the defense or contested type grabs down the field.
So you got
So it's clear, as Evan said, the next step in May's progression would be to see him out here with the ones on defense. Even if he's second up, keep the starting defense out there and see what he can do
There you go.
against him. But this has all been Brissett so far with the starting defense.
Do you think they want to focus on his footwork and technique first before they, not to say like it would burn his confidence by putting him out there with the starting defense, but before they throw him out to the Wolves?
Maybe, but I think the first thing is let's see what our offense looks like
Yeah.
with a veteran quarterback before we put a rookie out there with
I
with our offense.
Yeah.
I think too. There's an element of as soon as you put Mac or I keep calling him Mac. Oh God. As soon as you put Drake May out there with the starters, quote unquote,
That's it.
Everybody's like, oh,
Yeah.
here it is.
Well, there's no rush, and I know I feel like I'm rushing it, but I think it's more just from a entertainment standpoint.
Yeah,
to be
sure.
to be honest with you, because
yeah.
I just watching this offense with Jacoby Brissett, he's fine, but I don't know if I can deal with another season of fine. And when
Right.
and last year was worse than fine, but you understand my point where everything just feels like it's so hard to just even pick up a couple first downs because it has to be perfect, exactly how they put it on the whiteboard every single time just to create yards out of it. Because there isn't anything special about anybody on the field. There's no, to Fred's point earlier, there's no number one receiver. The quarterback's not a difference maker. So there's nothing special about what they're throwing out there. Whereas with Drake, it might be inconsistent, but there's going to be moments of special.
Yeah.
And at least that gives you something to hang your hat on.
Yeah.
You feel like you're starting the journey to investing in him full time sooner. You're not wasting your time, spinning your wheels with a guy who isn't going to be here in 2 years.
Right. I feel like we're on a road to nowhere with Jacoby Brissett right now, where will he not turn the ball over and have these back-breaking interceptions late in games like in Germany? Maybe we can get to that point, but it's just never. I just don't see anything that's going to be appealing or entertaining even.
Okay, Brissett's out.
Hitting up the field goal again. Looks like it's
Doing
about
a field goal. Yeah,
45 yards.
A little bit longer now.
See, he's got the
Is
juice.
that Dietrich jumping around?
The juice. Snap is down. Kick is up and
Sure-footed.
Good.
So that was a true 2-minute type drill.
Yeah.
So they threw the slant to Rager, and then they ran the ball, got a little gun run,
Yeah.
and then they spiked it.
Yeah,
and then
with
they
2
kicked it.
seconds left.
Yeah.
Yep. So now you got 58 seconds on the clock.
56 more than he needs.
So Drake's gonna get a chance here.
Is it Drake or Zappy?
Looks like the Drake.
looks like it's
Drake's
Drake,
dabbing
yeah.
him up.
Yep. It's
Tapping
Drake.
up the OL.
So that's been consistent. Drake's been number 2.
He's been pretty good today. I'm not gonna lie. He missed that throw early, and then
I give him a B.
Yeah.
okay, I could live with a B.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Right.
So here's some
Drake May up again. Now we
got
got
Gonzo,
we got real corners
Duggar.
out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Marty
right.
Mop, who's in the middle.
Here we go.
You got
Here
the
we
starting corners.
Because I noticed that on that last series,
Little
they held
sidearm to Ramon.
the starting corners were not on the field.
Yeah.
And now they are. So they
Right.
held them out. And now
Michael Hasty, 39.
Yeah. But back up front seven, really. So, I mean.
Yeah.
This is the day that Drake May became the starting quarterback for the
Well, let's see if he can get the ball to Polk against Gonzalez.
Pressure.
not good. Not good.
The pressure, the pocket is just not holding up.
Yeah.
On some of these, for either quarterback, I'm not trying to be biased. Like the pressure has been bad with the Brissett reps.
Well, I think he held it a little long.
Arm angles, huh?
Yeah.
You can just tell too that he's trying to run it in structure and run it on time, and we haven't even gotten to the I'm going to scramble around and throw it off my back foot 50 yards chapter yet, and that's not what you want to do at this time of year, obviously.
No.
But that element of it too is always in the back of my mind
And we got a flag.
that
False
exists with
start.
him. That it's not going to always have to be this. Like he's got a whole nother thing in his back pocket.
Well, if we can get the structure stuff down, it'd be a good place. All right, huddle up. So, yeah, you got guys like Christian Ellis, Jimenez.
Yeah, this is Marty Mapu playing Mike, though, but backup Mike, obviously, but give him some reps there.
There you go.
Interesting.
Directing track. He's going.
See,
nice throw.
That's what I'm talking about. Step up into the pocket, off-platform throw to Jalen Polk. The other guys just can't do that.
No.
And that's why he was the third overall pick in the draft.
That's a throw we have not seen in these parts in a long time.
Polk was wide open.
Yeah, that's a good throw. So Juju in the slot.
29 seconds left in the drive.
Pressure. Yeah.
What are you supposed to do there?
Definitely a stop.
74.
97, Tristan Hill.
74 and 97, a little dust up there.
Michael Jordan.
74, Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Is it? I never rostered for
6 seconds left. 4, 3, 2. Just gets it off.
Juju for a
Downfield.
touchdown. No.
So I don't know what they're doing with the clock, but obviously that would have been the last play of the game.
Field goals again, maybe? Or no?
Gerald Mayo. Blowing the whistle, taking control. We're going back. We're doing another rep here. Is that it?
See, looks like maybe Zappy was going to get a turn here.
What?
Yeah, Drake May took his helmet off and was walking back.
Yeah.
Looks a little frustrated about something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I saw Jacoby go over to a defender and put his arm around him like, you're cheating. Or doing, I think, not sure what was going on there.
I think
It's
somebody
Zappy
did
time.
bump into Drake May a little bit. I wonder if Jacoby was like, hey.
That's the franchise.
Yeah, let's not hurt somebody.
Same
please.
team.
We're going to ship you out of town.
It is Bailey Zappi now. Zappy fever starts.
Oh,
Sack.
geez.
Oh, and he's
I mean,
just,
the pressure is
yeah,
just.
he just puts it down.
Well, that was 4 verts. Like, they were just running everybody down the field, Hail Mary style, and that did not stand a chance.
I'm not even letting Zappy run real plays. Come on.
Well, it's 4 verts.
Yeah. Go deep. Good luck.
Yeah. All right. Time this.
Oh boy, that's a throw to no one.
Not even
They had the in
close.
cut there to
86.
86, but that was not.
Was that ball tipped at the line a little bit? Didn't look good.
No. Right along the ground.
Defense is going to claim victory today.
Yeah. Well, you get the feeling getting into training camp, this is going to be,
The vibe.
yeah, how much can the offense get up to speed? And, it's just weird. When we talked about what Damian Harris had to say about what was going on in that offense that we watched. And then, even last year it seemed, I guess, a little more organized, but it just wasn't, it was less productive. And, it's just hard to know what the difference is between an offense that in 2022 that we watched in training camp that was never going to go anywhere to, all right, yeah, it looks clunky right now, but are we seeing enough that you feel like there's going to be progress? They're going to start
Not at this
being
point.
able to, yeah. No, it's hard to see. And and even when they talk about it and they're like, well, we really need the running game to be clicking. And, you just wonder as a coach when you put these systems in and you really can acknowledge, like, there's always an element of unknown when you get to that first game that you don't know exactly what you got.
It
and how it's all
definitely
gonna come
feels
together.
like there's still that lack of separation from on the in-structure stuff.
Yeah.
That unless the run game, play action sequencing, and all that comes together really well, this is not going to be an offense that 11 on 11, 3 wide. Zappy almost throws another pick.
Schooler drops it.
Schooler, deep safety. This is Jaheim Bell.
Zappy just threw that up off his back foot.
Gerard Mayo has seen enough. They're off to the hills.
Schooler. All right, if that's the case, let's see what's going on here. Yes, they are off to the hills to run. So we are going to wrap things up here at Gillette Stadium. Next up is, should I break the news or not?
About what?
About when the next practice is.
Yeah,
Mayo said it before practice.
Okay, so Wednesday we'll be back live, and I believe it's an early morning practice, earlier than today. So we'll be on, 9:15 or something like that?
No,
I
it's
think it's
about
a little,
10.
Yeah.
Oh, 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the practice starts at 10?
Mayo's at 10:15, I think.
Okay, so we'll come up on about 9:45 for practice on Wednesday. It's a busy day on Wednesday because it's also the Brady Day, so we'll have our live practice, Patriots Unfiltered, at 9:45 start, and then we'll have the red carpet ceremony start with Brady around 5:30, and then we'll carry it through to the end of the night. So it's a big day Wednesday. That's when we'll talk to you next. Obviously, stay tuned to Patriots.com for all the latest news. And just want to remind you, it's easy to drink. It's easy to enjoy. Bud Light, the official beer of the New England Patriots. Thanks for watching and listening today. We'll talk to you Wednesday.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.